You know, so I don't know if you have this same thing. So we've been buying a lot of movies. There's been a lot of sales going on this weekend. And do you have the same like buyer's remorse that I have sometimes?
Always.
Yeah.
I've always had that. I call it post-purchase remorse or post-purchase regret, and it gets me every single time. It gets me every single time.
It's like I don't regret buying. I know when I get the movies, I'm going to be so happy, but it's like, man, I spent hundreds of dollars on movies today. Well, welcome to the first episode of Chasing Labels. I am one of your hosts, Stephen Billings, and with me, as always, is my friend, my confidant in filmdom,
Nice.
Mr. Andrew Cabral. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Welcome, everyone, to Cinema Discovery 2.0 or Chasing Labels,
Yes.
which is a play on words, if you haven't picked that up just by the title. It's a play on words of the Kevin Smith movie Chasing Amy. But Stephen and I, we chase labels.
Yes.
And by labels, we mean movie distributors, specifically physical media, Blu-rays, 4K UHD, DVDs, which are still a thing now. Actually, not to go off on something, but apparently when it comes to the market share of people buying physical media for movies, the vast majority, we're talking like 75%, is still people buying DVDs.
Yeah,
of all things.
Yeah, I would. The general public that still buy movies. Yeah, I mean, they're going for the cheapest thing, and I get it. You go to Walmart and you see them big bins.
They got to get rid of them.
Got to get rid of them. So, but some of these film, labels that we, are going to base this podcast around still, release DVDs. Criterion, still releases DVD versions of their most of their releases.
Correct.
So, let's get into it. Chasing labels. This is just something I talked with Andrew about wanting to kind of like try something new. And for me and him, our biggest passion, even through the Cinema Discovery Project, was that we have this passion for physical media. So I thought, let's just focus on these boutique labels, whether it's Criterion, Kino Lorber, Arrow Video, on and on. There's tons of them. And we're going to try to focus on as much of it as possible, but I figured, hey, let's do shows about new releases and things that we buy in our collection. And, that's just something I'm really passionate about and something he's really passionate about. So, yeah, how excited are you about this new venture here?
Super excited because it's, like we said, a main passion of mine and Steven's as well. It's kind of, we didn't meet through our mutual love of collecting, but it's kind of sustained our friendship for several years now. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, I would say that honestly, the kind of like seed of my collecting is partially because of Andrew. It's like he is Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein, and I'm the Frankenstein monster, and he's look, he's probably got more in his collection than me, but I might have a bigger variety of sorts.
That's probably accurate. Yeah, I wouldn't deny that.
Yeah,
but what is interesting is we both like not push each other, but like like Stevens gets some stuff and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Hey, Steven, how is that released? Does it look good? How's the packaging? What's the special features of? And then I'll be like, oh, I'll think of getting that.
Yeah.
Or vice versa or whatever. Just because, I think it's like really important for people with mutual interests to kind of help each other out or, connect in certain ways. And that's just kind of been a lot of things between Steven and I over the last several years. And of course, the underlying theme is always our love of movies in general. Hence our previous iteration of Cinema Discovery Project. This is kind of almost an offshoot, an evolved version of that, because we'll always be talking about movies. We're just talking about movies when it comes to their physical media forms, which is kind of the way Steven and I prefer to view them. And it's not that we don't like streaming. We've talked about streaming so many times on Cinema Discovery Project. It's just that our main passion is buying movies in the physical way: Blu-rays, DVDs, 4K UHD discs, whatever the future holds. Although I think we're kind of plateauing now when it comes to the format.
I'll be honest,
the
I
physical
hope so.
format.
I hope so, because it's getting a little out of hand.
I can't keep rebuying these movies.
Yeah. I mean,
can't keep doing it.
They keep specifically the big corporations are trying to repackage things over and over again, and it just gets old. But luckily, we're not going to be talking about much of that on this podcast.
No, we're talking about boutique labels.
Yes.
We're talking about Criterion, the Criterion Collection. We're talking about Indicator Series. We're talking about Eureka. We're talking about Arrow Video, both here and abroad. We're talking about Warner Archive. We're talking about Kino Lorber Studio Classics. We're talking about all kind of other stuff. Maybe some Vinegar Syndrome stuff, Synapse stuff. All kinds of stuff we're going to be talking about.
Sevron film.
Sevron's another one.
There's a lot of little smaller ones too that 88 Films is another one. I mean, a lot of littler labels that are working their way up, and we can't cover everything, of course, because we don't want these episodes to be these 4-hour, 5-hour, monstrosities. So we gotta keep it, somewhat, down to maybe within 2 hours. But we're going to try to cover as much as we can, as much as we try to stick to what we're interested in. And, maybe if we can get enough of an audience, you can help influence what we talk about. But for now,
it's just going to, it'll be about what we like and maybe what other people like or maybe don't even know about, and then perhaps will like as well.
Yeah. Well,
so let's move. Next.
Yeah, we're developing this show, so things could change over time. But what we're thinking is we're going to start out each episode by talking about some new announcements from some labels and some new at the same time talk about some new acquisitions that we've had through these labels as we go through. So we're going to start out with talking about the new Criterion June title announcements. And
yes, June.
Yeah, this looks exciting.
It's an important month for me personally because it is my birthday month. So the June titles are an interesting group of titles this year. I just want to make sure I got them all correctly. There's going to be every single month, usually, 2 weeks into the month or maybe 3 weeks into the month? It really all depends. Criterion announces their upcoming titles for whatever month that they're on. They're usually a few months ahead of schedule, which is kind of nice, so you know what to plan for in the future. Yeah. If you're looking ahead, specifically, Steven and I look ahead for the 2 big months, which is typically July and November, because that's the 50% off Criterion sale months, and that's the most important month.
Hopefully that continues, of course.
Yeah. So the June titles are The Human Condition, which is kind of the biggest title for me personally that month.
Yeah, I love one of my favorite movies is Harakiri from the same director,
yes,
Kobayashi. And so I've been kind of waiting to watch this one. I think you're the same way, waiting for a Blu-ray release of this. I know Arrow put out one, but I knew Criterion eventually would get around to it. So
yeah, this movie has been around for a long time in the Criterion Collection. It is spine number 480, so it's been around for a little bit. If you're curious, Criterion, each of their movies typically are given a specific number, and they're well over 1,000 now.
Yeah.
So 480 is kind of in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
And basically, these films are massive films. Yeah. It's a multi-part series of films. And the total runtime for all of these put together is 575 minutes. I believe it's 4 parts.
Yeah. So it's like roughly like 8 to 10 hours, I think.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to get through. It's been available on DVD for years. The thing is that, like I said, Steven and I were waiting for the Blu-rays. And these are all given, for special features and tech specs and stuff like that. It says high definition digital restoration with uncompressed monaural soundtrack and a 4.0 DTS HD master audio. Now, the uncompressed monaural are for parts 1 through 4, and the 4.0 DTS HD master audio is for parts 5 and 6. Interesting how that works. And then we get an excerpt from a 1993 Directors Guild of Japan interview with director Masaki Kobayashi, conducted by filmmaker Masahiro Shinoda. And then there's an interview from 2009 with Tatsuya Nakade, who is a well-known he's Japanese actor.
Yeah, he's the lead in Harakiri. He's an amazing actor.
Stuff. Yeah. Appreciation of Kobayashi and the Human Condition from 2009 featuring Shinoda. And then we get trailers plus an essay by critic Philip Kemp. And that is a massive release. I can't wait to get it.
Yeah,
I'm hopefully I'll get it at that July sale if it does happen.
Yeah, I'm gonna hopefully assume it's still gonna be in some kind of digipack form. I would hope so.
That's another thing. Yeah, the Criterion Collection edition seem to change packages randomly over the years. I don't even know if it's multi-discs.
Well, it says 3 discs.
Okay. Yeah, it is. Yeah, 3 disc, 3 BD50s. Says digipack, slim box. So I'm guessing it's gonna be similar to what we've seen from the other digipack releases.
Okay.
Maybe a la
something like
like Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yeah, like Lone
but
Wolf.
Obviously smaller.
Yeah.
Because I believe that was like a 5-disc edition.
Yeah.
This is 3 discs. I'm assuming it's going to be something like that and fitting it in a slip box. And it's going to have the same cover art as the original DVD did.
It's a beautiful cover.
It's a very
stark,
simplistic cover.
Stark cover. Yeah.
And this movie I heard is really, it's 9.5 hours long. It's an adaptation of a 6-volume novel. So it's a big one.
Yeah.
But let's move up to the next one. And next is going to be a movie called Streetwise / Tiny: The Life of Aaron Blackwell. And this I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with either. It's anything that Criterion puts out, I'm gonna assume it's got some kind of relevance somewhere, and I'm definitely gonna want to check into this. But it looks like it's got 2 different films on it. Yes,
it has a movie called Streetwise from 1984, and a movie called Tiny: The Life of Aaron Blackwell from 2016, and this is by director
Martin Bell.
Martin Bell, yes, Martin Bell. And for special features, let me take a look. It looks like we're getting new restored high-definition digital transfers of both films, supervised by director Martin Bell, with uncompressed monaural soundtrack for the Streetwise Blu-ray and 5.1 surround DTS HD master audio for The Life of Aaron Blackwell. New audio commentary on Streetwise featuring Martin Bell. New interview with Bell about photographer Mary Ellen Mark. New interview with Streetwise editor Nancy Baker. 4 short films by Bell. That's kind of cool.
That's cool, yeah.
I like when they include the short films because you can never see them anyplace else.
Yeah, it's hard to. Yeah, I mean, like there's very few instances where like one of these companies will put out like little the shorts of a filmmaker. Like Arrow put out the shorts from Cronenberg. Is like like
Criterion themselves put out the shorts for Martin Scorsese. Yeah. You just never get to see a lot of these short films. Yeah. They usually end up being special features, and if they're not, they're just out there somewhere. Don't really get seen. And then we have a trailer, English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing, plus an essay by historian Andrew Hedden, journalist Cheryl McCall's 1983 Life magazine article about teenagers living on the street in Seattle, and reflections on Blackwell written by Mark in 2015. What's really cool about this release is something that I think doesn't get to happen often, is the director's still alive. And they're able to contribute new stuff, new material.
Yeah, that's always exciting to me, is when they add new special features. It's not just something brought over from when the film first released. It's when they actually like come up with some new stuff, appreciation, a look back, that's that. Because I think a lot of times when it comes to film, it's about, time is the greatest factor. when it comes to
Yeah.
like the life of a movie, is did it stand the test of time? And time can always change your perspective on what you initially, especially from the filmmakers initially, maybe what you're going for until what it looks like in today's kind of like social, world. And yeah, I mean, I have to look more into this one to know more about it, but yeah, I'm always interested.
So the next one, which is coming out June 22nd, is The Signifying Works of Marlon Riggs. And this is another interesting one for me because this has been on the Criterion Channel streaming service. So it is available to see in that form. But it's kind of cool that they're putting it on disc.
Yeah.
Because that's been kind of happening where sometimes something will pop up on the Criterion Channel streaming service and then they'll put it on Blu-ray, which is really nice for us collectors who want the physical
Well, I was going to
form.
say, I wonder if Criterion uses the data that they get views wise on, and that helps them decide on what they're going to make physical copies for.
You think it's like a testing ground?
Yeah, I mean, like
almost?
something that maybe they have never had released, anywhere. When they need to see if people are interested, and if there's interest, then they decide to put it on a disc. I mean, that sounds good to me. But also, of course, in this particular case, the subject matter seems to be a very impactful and timely thing to put on in the collection.
Right.
The filmmaker being a black filmmaker, and I think it's what documentaries.
Yeah, he was actually a gay black filmmaker,
Yeah.
which coincidentally, talk about a connection to Cinema Discovery Project. One of our last episodes was The Watermelon Woman, directed by Cheryl Dunye. And she was a gay black filmmaker as well.
Yes.
And so there's a connection right there. But yeah, there are 7 films in this set here. And it's a bold mix of documentary, performance, poetry, music, and experimental techniques in order to confront the issues that most of the Reagan-era America refused to acknowledge, specifically the legacy of racist stereotypes and the impact of the AIDS crisis in the 80s. He's probably drawing on, his own, own stuff from the African American community in the queer realm of the world and stuff like that. So for special features and tech specs, there's new high definition digital masters of all 7 films with uncompressed stereo soundtracks. So used to reading monaural, it's actually stereo because it is the 80s where stereo became a thing.
Yeah.
4 new programs featuring editor Christian Badgley, performers Brian Freeman, Reginald T. Jackson, and Bill T. Jones, filmmakers, here we go, filmmakers Cheryl Dunye and Rodney Evans, poet Jericho Brown, film and media scholar Raquel Gates, and sociologist Herman Gray. Next is something called Long Train Running, the story of the Oakland Blues from 1981, Riggs' graduate thesis film. That's really cool. Sometimes in these sets, they'll include like student films of some of the directors.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. I think they did that in Christopher Nolan's Following. I think
they
included
showed
one of his student films.
Yeah.
Like a super short student film where it was like it was like some cockroach or something, or spider. I can't remember what it was. Anywho, but they include that sometimes. And then there's an introduction to Riggs recorded in 2020 and featuring filmmakers Vivian Kleiman and Shiketh and Ashley Clark, curatorial director of the Criterion Collection. I Shall Be Removed, The Life of Marlon Riggs from 1996, a documentary by Karen Everett that features interviews with Riggs, Kleiman, filmmaker Isaac Julian, African-American studies scholar Barbara Christian, several of Riggs's longtime friends and collaborators and members of his family. And then there's English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing, plus an essay by film critic K. Austin Collins. So basically, this set is going to be all about Marlon Riggs and his life and career.
Yes, yeah, I love that.
Looks like, and that's something that I love.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't get a lot of sets where they actually can cover almost a whole, person's career. And of course, some careers are longer than others. And this, I think, covers most of his stuff, right? So
yeah, it's 7 films. They range from 1986 to 1995. Yeah, I'm very curious how many discs are going to be in this set here. It's another one where I'm curious. It says 2 discs. I guess if they're short films or short documentaries.
I don't think I was going to say, I think I remember looking at them, and they're not all very long, so.
No, and the whole runtime for all of the 7 movies is 339 minutes. So if you divide that by 7, whatever that is. It's
like 3 hours, something like that.
Yeah, so they're probably, they have them all listed here on the Criterion website, but I don't know if we need to go into all of each film.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. They're, but that's definitely something I'm looking forward to. The next title comes out June 22nd. It's called Visions of 8, and this is something I'm not familiar with at all as well.
I was going to say, I'm not familiar with it, but I'm pretty sure this is an excerpt from the Olympic box set, right? This is like
It is. Yeah. It's called Munich 1972 Games of the 20th Olympiad. Very interesting. And this, interesting that they would release this by itself.
Yeah, it's sometimes Criterion. I mean, like in most cases, they put out single releases and then eventually maybe they put out a box set for something. But in this case, it's like they're kind of doing backwards. Like they're noticing that maybe not everybody's willing to buy that gigantic Olympic box set. So maybe we should put out some of our we found to be the most interesting parts of that set. Like I think, don't they already have Tokyo Olympiad out on its own release?
I was specifically wondering why they were specifically doing the 1972 Munich Games, and I think we all know why. That's the infamous Munich Games with the terrorist attack and the abductions and stuff like that, which was fictionalized or highlighted, not highlighted, but it became a lot of the basis for Steven Spielberg's movie Munich. So that's why they I think chose that year specifically. But with that being said, this film encompasses films from it's eight features featuring contributions from Milos Forman, Kan Ichikawa, Claude Lelouch, Juri Azaroff, Arthur Penn, Michael looks like Flegar, John Schlesinger, we've heard of him before, and Mai Zetterling. And basically, they all created short films focusing on anything they wanted. So we get new 4K digital restoration, and there's new audio commentary by podcasters Amanda Dobbins, Sean Fennessy, and Chris Ryan of the website The Ringer. New documentary featuring director Claude Lechaud, supervising editor Robert K. Lambert, Usman Sambien, biographer Samba Gajigo, Munich Olympic Games historian David Clay Large, producer David L. Wolper's son, Mark Wolper, and director Arthur Penn's son, Matthew Penn, which also includes behind-the-scenes footage from the film and material from Sambine's uncompleted short film, and then On Location with Visions of 8, a short promotional film trailer, and English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing, plus a 1973 article by author George Plimpton, excerpts from David L. Wolper's 2003 memoir, and a new reflection on the film by novelist Sam Lipsyte. These pronunciations are killing me.
You make it sound good, man. I mean,
yeah, thank you. But so I'm assuming it's the same, like you were saying, it's from the Olympic set?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe it is, yeah.
I'm pretty sure, though.
To be honest, I'm not sure myself. Oh, it is.
Okay.
100 years of Olympic films, it is from that set, and it's a one-disc release.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that the special features are the same ones. Like, it's not a new restoration. Like, I'm pretty sure.
I'm assuming they're just putting that disc in that set in new package.
Yeah. That's what I'm assuming, but I I think that this is a good thing for people that maybe don't want to spend $300 on that set, but I've spent tons of money on sets. This is not one I've actually have decided to buy yet. Maybe because I'm too intimidated by it.
I also don't know if I would watch the whole thing.
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I love documentaries.
Yeah, so do I.
But it is a lot.
And I love history.
Yeah, I love history. I love there's a lot you can probably learn through these documentaries. But I mean, damn, it's a lot. I don't know. It's intimidating. I don't know. I already have enough. I already have enough in my collection to watch.
Very true. But let's move on to the next release, which is coming out June 29th.
And this is, I think, the last one, right?
No, there's one more after this.
Okay.
They're both coming out on the same day.
Okay, that's what it
coincidentally.
is.
Yeah, it's Pariah, directed by Dee Reese.
Yes.
And this is something I'm definitely looking forward to because I've actually seen this movie.
Yes.
Because I watched it on Netflix a couple of years ago because Dee Reese did the movie Mudbound.
Yeah.
Which was also on Netflix at the time.
That's the only one of her movies I think I've seen is Mudbound.
I don't believe she's directed much. That could be why.
Well, I mean,
she's only
I think she's done a couple other movies maybe, but didn't she do a movie called like Scarlet or something like that? Or
I'm actually looking right now. She's done a bunch of shorts and some documentaries, some TV stuff, but her first feature film is Pariah. Yeah. Her second feature film is Mudbound.
Okay.
And then her most recent feature film is called The Last Thing He Wanted, which has a 2020 release date on it. You know what that is? That's the Netflix film with Anne Hathaway and Ben Affleck.
I haven't seen it yet, no. Yeah.
Rosie Perez, Willem Dafoe is in it. It came out last year. I remember seeing the promos for it when it came out on Netflix.
No, okay.
And what is interesting is I don't remember if Mudbound even got a physical media release.
I don't think it has. So maybe we're looking at a possible future Criterion release since now she's in the collection. And this is
and they love to put out stuff from like first films by directors.
Yeah,
they love that stuff.
Yeah, and this is one I haven't seen. It's one I've been looking at the Blu-ray on. It's in my wish list for a long time. But now that this is getting a Criterion version, I'll have to take that out of my cart and put this in. I'm gonna be getting this version.
Yeah. I mean, it will. Well, Steven, you're in luck because it does have new stuff in it, a lot of new stuff.
Okay, good.
So there's a 2K digital transfer with 5.1 surround DTS HD master audio. New conversation between director Dee Reese and filmmaker scholar Michelle Parkerson. New cast reunion featuring Reese, Adepero Oduye, Pernell Walker, Kim Waynes, Charles Parnell, and Asha Davis. Moderated by scholar Jacqueline Stewart. A new program on the making of the film featuring Reese, cinematographer Bradford Young, he's a really great cinematographer, production designer Inbal Weinberg, producer Nakisa Cooper, and editor Mako Kamitsuna, moderated by Stewart. And then there's a new interview with film scholar Kara Keeling, author of Queer Times, Black Futures, English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing, plus an essay by critic Cassie DaCosta. So yeah, it looks like that's a brand new release. Yeah. That's new stuff that's been made recently, which I love to see. Yeah, this is something I'm definitely interested in getting because this is kind of the only thing from her that's on physical media right now. I would really love Mudbound to be put out. That's the one thing.
Well, they have
to point out.
Yeah, they have a Netflix connection now. I mean they.
Yeah, that's the one thing with Netflix is they're just starting to put out some of their movies in the physical media realm. And by some movies, I mean like the ones that Criterion wants to put out.
Yeah, I mean,
they don't really partner up with anybody else.
Yeah, I think that their relationship with Scorsese and I think they did Marriage Story.
Marriage Story, The Irishman.
Yeah.
Parasite.
Well, Parasite's not Netflix though, but I mean it's
no, but it. You're right. Why did I think Parasite?
I don't know. It's because it's modern.
You know what I was thinking of? Because it's Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah. And he won the Academy Award.
And he's worked with Netflix. He did Okja.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of. That also doesn't have a release.
Yeah, well, maybe you'll see that.
Oh, my Bong Joon-ho section's missing out.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a big fan of that movie, but...
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm a completist when it comes to directors. Even if it's not a good movie, I gotta get it.
I'm somewhat like that, yeah. I get there eventually, but not off the bat. I'm excited about this one. This is a coming of age movie about a queer black woman.
A young teenage girl, I believe.
Yeah,
and I believe it's one of those where, like she hides it because her family won't accept her
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It's a timeless tale that still happens today.
Oh yeah.
Granted, this movie's came out a few years ago, so it's contemporary in and of
it's
itself.
about 10
But
years
it's even
old,
more
yeah.
contemporary now.
And I also noticed it's the cinematography was by Bradford Young.
Yes,
And he's becoming more prominent.
great.
Yeah, he's becoming more prominent. He worked with Denis Villeneuve and did he's starting to do some more higher profile stuff now.
Well, he did the cinematography for
Arrival.
which looked amazing.
Yeah.
I remember being in the cinema a few years ago when that came out, and I was like, yeah, wow, this is amazing. Yeah, he did the cinematography for Most Violent Year. He did it for Selma. Yeah, he's a really good cinematographer.
Yep.
So let's move on to the next release, and the final release for Criterion is actually a nice DVD to Blu-ray upgrade. That's about damn time. And this is also coming out on June 29th, 2021, and this is Samuel Fuller's Pickup on South Street. Finally.
I love Samuel Fuller. Unfortunately for me,
I have this on DVD.
Yeah, well,
I gotta get this Blu-ray.
Well, I have the Blu-ray. See, the thing is, I have the Eureka release of this on Blu-ray. So,
nice.
So I'm at a crossroads here. I mean, I guess for me, the defining, always the thing that gets me on whether I rebuy something or not is if the packaging's better or if the special features are more extensive. So at this point, we'll have to see. I have to make a judgment
Well, I mean,
call.
the packaging is, that they both come.
They're both about the same in the sense of packaging.
Yeah, they both come in relatively regular type of Blu-ray cases when it comes to Criterion.
Yeah.
They're a little thicker. They're clear plastic cases. How is the Eureka cases? Aren't they clear plastic as well, but thinner, right?
No, it's about the same. I mean,
It's about the same. I forget.
yeah, they're about the same.
And so this film, yeah, I really like this film a lot. It stars Richard Widmark, who I think is a great actor. He's in this film, and yeah, it's really great. But this says here it's a new 4K restoration of the film. Now, is it new to this release, or is it new in the sense that it's the newest? Like, is it the same 4K release, 4K restoration that is on that Eureka disc that you have?
I don't know. I don't know how new it is. I'd have to look at the notes on that. But I would. I mean, that release I think somewhat a few years old. I mean, I could do a quick search real quick.
No, you don't have. But you know what? Do it while I'm reading off all these features. So it has uncompressed monaural soundtrack, a new interview with critic Imogen Sarah Smith, author of In Lonely Places, film noir Beyond the City. Pickup on South Street is a film noir, which of course is something that is right under Stephen and I's, window. Basically,
yeah.
we love that stuff. So Imogen Sarah Smith has been showing up on a lot of Criterion releases and a lot of releases in general recently, and she's really, really good. Like, the information she's providing is really educational and fantastic. Next up here is an interview from 1989 with director Samuel Fuller himself, conducted by film critic Richard Schickel. Richard Schickel was a kind of prominent, well-known film critic. I think he wrote, I can't remember who he wrote for. I don't know if it was USA Today or something like that. But anywho, there's that, and then there's Cinemas, Fuller, a 1982 French television program in which the director discusses the making of the film. That's always kind of cool, because when are we ever going to see an episode of a French television show from 1982?
Look, I have special,
connections
where I get French TV.
Got it.
Yeah.
You know what you got? Yeah, you must have like super duper satellite TV.
I was gonna say, I sound so pretentious right there. I got
you have some type
French
of VPN.
channel.
Yeah. And then there's trailers and then English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing, plus an essay by critic Angelica Jade Bastian and a chapter from Fuller's posthumously published 2002 autobiography, A Third Face: My Tale of Writing, Fighting, and Filmmaking.
Well, that's
a great title.
Well, I can tell you right now, I'm looking at the special features for the Eureka set. Now, it does say it has a new 1080p 4K new 4K restoration on that Blu-ray. I will say, based off of what you're telling me about the features on that disc, that there's more features. So
Really? There's less features on that Eureka
Yeah,
disc?
there's a new and exclusive interview with Kent Jones, a video interview with some French guy that I'm not going to try to pronounce his name because I'm not good at that. Cinemas, Samuel Fuller interview, and then a trailer.
I think that's that same 82 French television program.
And then it's got a 36-page booklet with essays. And I think the Criterion release might have a few extra features in there.
Yeah, the only thing that looks different is the 1989 interview with director Sam Fuller and the new interview with Imogen Sarah Smith. That is another thing I think it's important to bring up since we're comparing two releases of the same movie. When it comes to boutique labels, these the special features tend to be exclusive to the label sometimes, often.
Yeah.
Just because of rights issues and licensing and
because it happens
stuff like that.
It happens all the time. A release gets held up.
It happens all the time.
Release gets held up because the licensing was not like worked out properly. So then a release gets held up and they have to either take it off the disc or they get it worked out and it gets to stay.
Well, yeah, that's a whole different thing when it comes to just owning the rights to put out a movie.
Yeah.
That's a whole different game. I meant specifically licensing rights to special features themselves.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That happens too, though. I'm saying like releases.
Yeah, that happens as well.
Because like they had a recent release from Indicator for was it Charity, Sweet Charity, the musical.
Sweet Charity?
Yeah, they had a different version of the movie that they were supposed to present it in, and it was in a different. It was like an extended cut or something. They had to take it off.
Was it like the Roadshow version?
Yeah, like the Roadshow version, and they didn't have the rights to the the intermission stuff or something.
Yeah, it's
nuts. Ridiculous.
That's crazy.
And they were like, "Well, you can't show that now, so we have to take it off the disc."
Yeah, we don't have the rights for the intermission.
It's
music, or maybe it'll be like a music thing. Like we don't have the rights to the intermission music. It's like
it's crazy.
Who's holding up those rights? Who's holding on to them?
Yeah. So like it's really we're not experts in that realm. Maybe we can talk to some people down the line that can help explain this stuff better to us. But
yeah, we dabble a little bit in it, but there are more people well versed in this realm than us. But just that tends to happen a lot in the boutique label world, where different releases of the same movie will have different special features, and us as collectors have to be like, which one do we want, or can we have both?
It was to say, so a lot of times we end up having two.
I mean, that's another thing with collecting physical media. This is gonna happen. You're gonna have multiple copies of the same movie. It just happens that way.
Yeah, well, it's inevitable. You just decide that it's that important to you that you want to have a few extra things on that movie if it matters that much to you. I mean, it's
Sometimes it can be special features. Sometimes it can be packaging. Sometimes it can be, sometimes it can be different formats.
Yeah, definitely. Well. We made it.
Yep,
that's all the Criterion announcements.
That's all the Criterion good stuff.
Before we move on from Criterion, we did recently. It's been a few weeks now, but we did have a flash sale. Did you pick up anything from that flash sale?
We did just have a flash sale. We had multiple flash sales.
Well, yeah.
People were flashing everywhere.
We're gonna get to the other flashes, but for now, the Criterion one. Did you get anything from that Criterion?
Ooh, the Criterion flash sale. Yeah, okay, so you gotta specify the flashes.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay?
That's what I'm saying.
All right, so I did end up getting the Agnes Varda set.
Okay.
The big Varda. Is it Varda on Varda? I forgot what it was called.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, it's called Varda by Agnes. See, I'm messing with the names here. No, that's the name of her movie. What am I thinking of? I'm just gonna type in Varda to see what happens. The complete films of Agnes Varda. That
sounds exactly what it is.
Yeah, and so this set has all of her movies from 1955 to 2019, 39 movies. This set came out August 2020, and I just wanted the set, not only because she passed away recently, one because I just wanted all of her movies. I'm a completist when it comes to directors. I have to have all of their movies, and it's super nice where they put them all in one set for me, so I don't have to like wait or bounce around to different places to get their movies. Especially with someone who's had an extremely long career and has done so many movies. It's really nice to have them all together. And the thing with Agnes Varda is she has done many different kind of movies. She did documentaries, she did documentary shorts, she did short films, she did features, she did movies that ran 5 minutes and movies that ran, full feature length. So I wanted them all. So I finally got it. And the kicker here, Steven, this is where, if you got to be a savvy collector out there, people, that's the thing is, so if you are a subscriber to the Criterion channel or have a Criterion account on their website, sometimes they send you coupon codes, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't aware that they just didn't expire. So I had 4 $10 off coupon codes. And I just stacked them on top, one on top of the other.
The planets aligned for this.
The planets aligned. So it was not only 50% off, but I also had another $40 off of whatever that 50% off was. So I ended up getting this set for under $100.
It's amazing.
And I would like, it was like I almost felt like, did I just rob a bank? What just happened?
I mean, let's just be honest. If you were more, if you were less, you were more aware, you probably would have spent them things on something.
You know what it was? When it comes to me and Steven, our tendencies buying are very different. I'm a procrastinator. I'm indifferent.
You're looking for
battle
deals.
Myself.
You're looking for deals.
I'm looking to get things, not only the cheap, like maximize my value, maximize the value. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you're spending more time looking for a deal so you'll have more money to buy more movies. Me, I just spend all my money.
Yeah, you just buy it when you see it.
Yeah, I'm more like an addict than any, like I'm like jittering, and I'm looking to buy something every few days.
I try to hold myself back, or else I will be perpetually broke. And so so this was too good to pass up, because this set will never be under $100 ever.
Not on purpose. Yeah, not on purpose.
Not on purpose. Not unless like somebody hacks into some website somewhere and screws with stuff. But yeah, I was so happy to get it. Criterion shipped it out. It came in, perfect condition. And it's great. So I actually have that big time set that I now have to dive into. So that's one thing I bought at the flash sale, but it's a big thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, me with the flash sales. I mean, I do get the coupons as well, because I am one of the first subscribers of the Criterion channel. I have my little tag and everything.
I have my membership card too.
Yeah. And so I get that coupon. So I got that plus the 50% off. And I usually go for one release. With shipping, it ends up being like $18 to $19. So that's a good price. But I don't want to go and stack them, because then I'll go nuts. I do that with everything else. So I decided to go ahead and go pick up one of the newer releases, The Ascent, which is a Russian film, war film. And what I've heard a lot of great things, but also I love kind of. Just in general, I buy a lot of blind buys just because I'm always wanting to find the next hidden gem, something I've never seen before that I'm going to end up loving. And this film is set around World War II, and it's a Russian film, so I love getting films from other countries that around the war, because you get that different perspective. Just like Come and See, is a great war film. That just got a new edition in the collection, and seeing the perspective from other countries about that war is always very interesting to me. So I can't wait to watch this one. It looks beautiful, and I've had some great experiences with Russian films. The few I've seen, being very good. So that's the lone one I got from the flash sale.
Nice. So nice pickup.
But now we're moving on to the only other. We're going to keep going with some more announcements and some pickups here. We got. We'll go through the last bit pretty quickly. Indicator Powerhouse came out with their announcements for June, and if you know anything about Indicator Powerhouse, they come out with some of the most gorgeous box sets, and they've been running a lot of. They have a few series that they have run. They've been doing these film noir sets. And they had some William Castle sets. They had, this announcement they had for June, they just added a 6th volume to their Hammer series. And it is called Night of Shadows, or Night Shadows, I'm sorry. It's their volume 6, and it includes 4 films. You got 1961's The Shadow of the Cat. You have 1962's Captain Clegg. You have the 1962, and there's many versions of this movie, The Phantom of the Opera. And then 1964's Nightmare. And also a single release that they released was for June 21st is Eye of the Cat, which came out in 1969. Now, of course, I haven't seen any of these films, but I've become slowly a really big Hammer fan. So I'm excited to really check out what these films have to offer, because with Indicator, sometimes you don't know what you're going to get, but you get these really great discoveries. And it looks like, and one thing that they don't skimp on when it comes to their releases is their special features. All these releases have new high definition remasters, tons of new created special features, appreciations, and then of course some archival stuff. And these are all like premiere UK Blu-ray releases, the first time on Blu-ray. So, even Phantom of the Opera has a 2K restoration, and they have two different versions, two different aspect ratios, 1661 and 1851. So, if you're not into Indicator Powerhouse, I suggest you start looking into them, because they do these limited runs, and they're some of the best box sets out there. And I say just have an open mind. So what do you think of these releases?
Well, I have volumes 2, 3, 4, and 5 is on the way. So they announced it just in time for me to get caught up for a day. And then they were like, no, you're not caught up. By caught up, I mean like one is literally impossible to find, and I got the rest of them.
I give Andrew a lot of credit for why I'm the collector I am now, but I have to say I think I nudged him into Indicator a little bit. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I had heard about them,
yeah.
And then I didn't know any. Well, I knew some people started buying them. Like I saw some people on Instagram, and then some people on YouTube, and then Steven started buying them, and then and I started explaining. Once Steven started buying them, I'm like, okay, now it's real.
Yeah, it's real now. It's too close to home now.
It's getting close to home, because it's nice to have firsthand accounts of the quality of some of these releases, because they can be expensive. Buying overseas from if you live here in the United States, the shipping will kill you.
Shipping can be expensive. It does make these a little bit more expensive than you would maybe like, but
to be honest, they're actually really worth it. I've been collecting now for about 14 years, and these are really, really nice sets. I like just looking at this volume 6, the amount of special features on each individual movie, not just the box set itself, on each individual release is astounding. They put more effort into these releases and special features than I've seen most big time movies.
Yeah,
it's really astonishing the work I'm seeing.
It really shows their passion for these movies. I think getting into the Indicator series has really helped open my eyes up to wanting to discover more and more different types of movies. We're always, of course, looking for fantastic, perfect, great movies. We're all looking for them, all-time great movies. But I think that
of course.
We talk about this, me and Andrew talk about this all the time, that there is value in mediocre movies and bad movies. There's not all movies that are bad are all bad. There's something there in all of them.
For me, it's like there's no real sense of uniformity when it comes to cinema, when it comes to quality. Because if we want to stop watching movies, if we want to stop once we've hit the all-time best movies, we would have stopped watching movies 50 years ago. What I mean? It's I would have probably, there are some people, so everyone's different. Some people don't think there's been a great movie made after 1979.
Oh, yeah.
And there are some people who are like, no, not really. And there are some people who only watch, movies from, I don't know, 30s and 40s. There are some people who only watch movies from modern times. And it's just I like what I love about cinema the most is its vastness in just, everything. There are genres, there's subgenres, there's all kinds of different movies that you can watch. I just love exploring them.
Yeah,
I really do.
I keep finding new and new corners of cinema all the time. And
Yeah.
that's why I like buying these sets, because I feel like I'm grabbing history and putting it on my shelf. Like I don't look at my collection as just collecting all my favorite movies. I feel like it's like an archive. Like I feel like I'm, creating a real library that I can maybe pass on to my family, through my family, my kids, and hopefully they take care of it and it gets that's the way I look at it. I look at it as time capsules being put on my shelf.
It's almost like a personal library, if you will. Yeah, and I agree with you when it comes to that. But it's astonishing now how many films are being discovered or rediscovered for the first time. Like these Hammer sets, like Hammer was founded, I think, back when it was like the 40s or 50s. Hammer existed.
Yeah,
and it's like, these movies are just being seen now, like decades and decades and decades later, in the best form that possible. And it's really thanks to boutique label like Powerhouse Films, like their Indicator series, that we're able to get them. And I've said this to Steven like many times, even before we even thought up this podcast. I am increasingly astonished about the care and effort and that's being put into a lot of releases by boutique labels. There seems to be more money, more effort, more time, more care than any of the mainstream studio labels out there. Like, they just seem to be machines that just put out movies, and here you go. Here you go. There's no like, hey, we just made a new 2-hour documentary about the making of this movie. Nah, they don't give a shit about that. They don't care.
Yeah, they're just banking on the movie itself, hoping it will sell itself,
Yeah, it'll sell itself. But Indicator's been amazing. And I love that they're coming out with a new release every month, and they've been around. They're relatively new. I think this is only like their 5th year in existence.
Yeah, I mean, they do limited runs, and then So if you really want the full experience, you have to jump on
the full Monty.
Yeah, you have to jump on them quickly. I mean, they don't go out too quickly depending on what it is, but you do have to.
But their stuff's heating up right now.
Yeah.
To the point where this stuff is selling out faster than before, and I guess that kind of transitions us into another flash sale.
Yeah, we just had an Indicator sale.
It was literally just an Indicator flash sale.
Yeah, and I think it was like 50% off, or it was definitely it wasn't
50% off, but it was a percentage.
It was definitely a reduced price.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we both partaked in this sale.
I did partake.
What'd you
Steven
get?
partook as well. I'm actually looking at my orders right now because they just shipped within the last couple of days.
Yeah, mine should get to me by Tuesday, is what they're saying.
Ooh, I haven't even looked at my tracking yet, but I won't do that now because that takes time. So the first thing I bought was, coincidentally, Hammer Volume 5, Death and Deceit Limited Edition. And the reason why is because the editions for Volume 1, 2, and 3, I believe are now... No, and 4. I think and 4
is out too.
Is out too.
Yeah.
So they're now all 4 of those are sold out.
And the good thing about them is I was going to say they kind of keep you up to date when things are going to run out. So that's one great thing that they do, is keep you on your toes. It also makes them go out quicker too, because once you tell everybody, then everybody runs.
You start panic buying.
Yeah.
Oh, you ever get the panic buys? Oh my goodness.
Yes. It's so sweet. So sweet when you get it in right there at the end. You're like, yes.
Freaking out. But what I also want to mention is, even though the box sets go out of print, they re-release them in standard editions, so you still have an opportunity to at least get the movie, as well as the movie that's in the box set. Sometimes when it comes to the limited part of their limited editions, sometimes it's limited special features, but most of the time it's the packaging, the cool ass box art, and it's the booklets that come in the sets as well, because each movie typically comes with a booklet. which is not all companies do that now. It's basically just Criterion and them for the most part. But I ended up getting Hammer Volume 5 because I have 2, 3, and 4. 1 has been out of print for a long time, and you can buy it if you want to go on eBay and drop like 200 to 250. You can buy it. That's the third party market when it comes to buying physical movies can go up and down.
I've had to.
It's cutthroat out there.
I've had to unfortunately do that with a few releases where I was like, man, I really need this to complete, because I have every box set from Indicator. I'm Indicator complete on the box sets. So
I was too late to the game to get there. So I'm eternally jealous of Steven. I hate you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Trust me, I paid for it. Because I was at the beginning. I was like a little late, so there was like at least 2 releases I couldn't get a hold on without paying like 2 times as much as they initially were costing.
Brutal.
Like
wasn't
it? It was
the Sinbad trilogy.
The Sinbad trilogy, and then I had to pay extra to get the
Night of the Demon.
Night of the Demon. Yes.
Nice.
So I paid for it. Trust me.
Nice. So I got Hammer Volume 5, like I said, and then the next one I got William Castle at Columbia Volume 2. The reason why I did that is because Volume 1 went out of print and went out of stock. Yeah, out of print, out of stock, kind of the same thing. And I didn't get it in time, so I had to end up paying way more money for it. Not an exorbitant amount of money, but like $20 more than I probably would have bought it had I bought it from their site. I ended up getting it from Amazon UK as a Christmas present. So I wanted to get that before it went out, and I think it ended up. Did it end up selling out during the sale? I can't remember.
Which one?
But either way,
one?
It should be in the mail. William Castle at Columbia Volume 2.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I'm actually on their website now. I probably should look. Let's see. Yeah, so it looks like nope. It did not sell out. It did not sell out.
That's good.
But yeah, and then so I bought those 2, and I was tempted to go back for some more, but I'm like, that's 2 box sets. I'm good.
That can make you feel good. You feel like you did something.
I accomplished my goal.
Yeah.
I wanted to get those 2 before they disappeared, and that was it.
That's good. That's good.
But the temptation's always there.
Oh, it is.
It never ends.
It is. So I got 5 single releases.
Nice.
I got an early '60s Oliver Reed film, The System.
Nice.
I also got a movie called They Made Me a Fugitive. This I think is like another World War. It might be it's another World War II film, I think. Also, I got a movie called The Third Secret. And like once again, these are all kind of blind buys for me. So I look into them and I read people's reviews of them, and it makes me gravitate to things. I also got a film called The Strange One, and then I also lastly got a movie called Cisco Pike, which has got
nice. I'm actually really jealous of that one.
Yeah, it's
I really want to get
Chris
that.
Christopherson, Gene Hackman, Karen Black.
That's got to be late 70s.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of one of the movies in the vein of like your Five Easy Pieces, stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I always get excited about getting these releases and trying to discover something new. So these, like I said, should be getting to me by midweek.
Nice.
But cool.
Nice.
And so now moving into a few more announcements, we a couple more little things on announcements. The Kino has, I guess one subject matter we can kind of, it's kind of not of an announcement thing, but it was kind of a mistake that happened with a recent Kino release.
Going into that one.
Yeah. Let's go straight into the bad news first, and then go to good stuff afterwards. So recently, Kino had a new release of "Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia,"
Yes.
and this is through their Kino Lorber Studio Classics, and apparently they had on their disc they put the wrong master on there. I mean,
yeah, they made the disc with the old master of the movie versus the new one, which was the new 4K master. And what is interesting, and I brought this up to Steven, this is kind of my story, is they're now issuing replacement discs with the movie now, with being presented with the new master in better quality. And I found it just odd that they got all the way up to the point and beyond the point of releasing the movie. Like, people bought it and got it home and put it in their their players and watched it and were like, this doesn't look quite right here.
Jesus.
And I mean, I don't want to knock them because I like them as a company, but I'm like, no one caught this along the assembly line.
This is the thing, and like you said, I'm not trying to knock on Kino Lorber because I buy a lot of stuff from them, I'm
gonna buy stuff from them.
I'm gonna continue to buy stuff from them, which is funny because we'll talk about that too, because I have a haul coming from them also.
What a tease!
Yeah, I know, right? But Kino is not known for being a label that I would say puts a lot of effort into their supplements, like their special features. There's not, and their packaging. I mean, they're typically pretty bare bones.
It's standard.
So you'd hope that at least more attention would be put on the restoring of the film and making sure that the quality control of what they do. I said do. Is all good. So it's kind of weird to me that this could fall through the cracks. But then again, they do put out like 50 movies a month.
I'll say this though: when I first heard of Kino, they were small company.
Yeah,
they were really, really small. They were not like now. Now they've been kicking it into high gear with their licensing acquisitions of movies and just the amount of movies they've been putting out, and with much better quality than they have in the previous years. And they've been kicking it in the high gear now for at least 2-3 year range now, and it's been great.
I mean, I think
a huge catalog now.
I think they've been making they've been kind of teaming up with other labels. Like I think they team up with Studio Canal.
Was it them, or it was either Studio Canal or Scorpion releasing?
Well, also Scorpion releasing's another one. Yeah,
but what they've been doing is I think they've been outbidding other companies when it comes to acquisitioning licenses, or they've been just beating them out somehow, because I mean, this goes into a whole big physical media game here. Every time you see a title go out of print from a specific company, whatever the title is, usually it means one of two things. One, they don't make it anymore because no one's buying them. Two, they only made a certain amount because it's a limited edition. Or three, they don't have the license to that movie anymore.
Yeah.
And what happens is then another company can acquire that license, and that's when these boutique labels acquire licenses. And Kino's been acquiring licenses for a lot of movies that have had Blu-ray releases previously and most recently. For example, Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia was put out a couple of years ago by the now... Well, actually, Twilight Time does exist, but not quite in its form. But Twilight Time was put out a version of that.
Yeah, and Arrow.
And then Arrow had also put out a version of that, but Arrow has the license
for the UK.
To put it out in the UK. Yeah. They don't have the license to put it out here.
Yeah.
That's a whole international game of mystery.
Yeah.
And so basically, Twilight Time had put out a release, but were using an old master from MGM, and it looked okay. This was a new master that was a 4K restoration from 2017. This is the one that Arrow used in the UK, and this was the one that Kino advertised that said, our release is going to have the new 4K restoration. Then people got the discs, took one look at it, and it's like, no, there's something wrong here. And they ended up, basically, they somehow, some way ended up getting the old version, the old masters that was used on the previous Blu-ray. So now they gotta print new discs.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but I was telling Steven earlier, it's like, these are looked at significantly, I guess, like whatever, over the times of their production. So no one noticed that they had the wrong masters or anything.
So I mean,
like that.
when the guy was sliding the files onto the disc, I mean, he had the original, the old restoration next to the new restoration accidentally or something. Like, how does that happen?
Well, it says here, it says here, quote, this is directly from their Facebook page for March 15th. We had received the wrong master from the UK label. The new discs will include the 2017 4K restoration. The old card and reversible are limited, and reprints will not include them. That's another thing. Kino is now getting in the game of using slipcovers and I guess reversible art for some of their bigger releases, which I guess this was one of. This is a Sam Peckinpah film, probably one of the best Sam Peckinpah films. This is a great film. So I guess like the new ones that they're going to be printing won't have slipcovers and won't have reversible art. It says we are printing enough discs to cover this era, so no returns are needed. The reprints without the O card and reversible will include the fixed disc. So I guess you have to contact. It says bring the head of there's a replacement program. You got to like fill in your name, your email address, your regular address, all kind of stuff.
Yeah, it can be frustrating.
And it's not the first time a company has had to issue replacement discs. This seems to happen a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking before Shout Factory with the recent Friday the 13th set.
Friday the 13th, they had to replace 3 or 4 discs. Yeah, and that was another quality control thing. But Shout Factory's kind of been somewhat notorious for that over the years. Yeah. But these companies do fess up to their mistakes, and they do. Hey, they do fix them for the most part. Yeah. That's kind of cool. But I just thought that was a cool thing to talk about because it is a recent release from one of these prominent boutique labels. That does happen. Yeah, that was a cool and interesting story.
But speaking of Kino and how they release 1,000 things in a month, they just dropped a ton of new releases from one particular actress, Mae West.
Correct. So.
Yeah. So. They obviously have gotten their hands on a lot of her stuff, and she is a prominent actress from the
1930s,
30s, 40s, and she had a certain type of way about her, a little bit more.
Well, she's one of the reasons. I mean, we talked about this way back when in Cinema Discovery Project with the Hays Code. Yeah. Because a lot of her work was done in the pre-code times. Yeah. And she was very, very...
More promiscuous.
Her characters were very sexual.
I was going to say more promiscuous than what she...
Yeah, promiscuous, sexual, a lot of that energy. And she played roles like that, that the Hays Code didn't want, blah, 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 all that nonsense. But what's kind of cool now is like a bunch of her movies, like Steven said, are going to get released in June, actually. I think they're all coming out on the same day, June 29th, 2021.
I got the list here.
You got and it's 9 films.
Yeah, they're all single releases. Right. So right now, it's you have Night After Night. You have She Done Him Wrong, which has also got Cary Grant in it from 1933.
I've seen it.
Is it good?
Yeah, I dig it. A lot. What's cool about these films is they're really short. If you watch a lot of movies from like the 30s specifically, they're all like an hour to an hour 25.
Yeah, that is one of the good things about a lot of older films is you can get them in.
The longest movie out of all of these is 87 minutes
That's amazing.
long.
That's amazing. But so you got I'm No Angel, which has also got Cary Grant in it from 1933. You have 1934's Bella of the 90s.
Yeah, I've actually I don't want to cut you off, Steve, because you're on a roll.
No, you're good.
But all of these movies were recently on the Criterion channel streaming service, so I just binge watched a bunch of them. But I'm hoping that the quality on these Blu-rays are going to be better than the quality was on the streaming.
Yeah.
I'm like that.
I think they all have new 4K scans, if I'm not mistaken. I can bring up the specs, but before
I'll do that. I'll do that while you're reading them.
Okay. In 1935, we have Going to Town. And then in 1936, we have Klondike Annie. Then we have her film from 36, Go West, Young Man. 1937's Every Day's a Holiday. And then 1940's My Little Chickadee.
Chickadee.
So 9 films from from her, and I mean that's great. I mean we get a whole chunk of her career right there from Kino. You have the specs.
Yeah, I'm looking. Well, I mean, I've got all the specs on them, but it doesn't say anything about the transfers.
Let me see. I'd taken a picture of.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I took a picture of a certain
I'm looking
section.
on Kino's Facebook page, and I've got the press release as well.
Yeah, it says originally posted from a Kino Lorber Insider. It looks like 2014 HD Master for Night After Night, 2017 Master 4K scan for She Done Him Wrong, 4K restoration for I'm No Angel from 2019. So, I mean, there's a lot. It looks like
these are,
most of these are new 4K scans except for Klondike Annie.
Yeah.
I got this I got this from Blu-ray.com.
That's where I am.
Yeah, in a forum. So most of
you're in the forum.
Yeah, I found it in a forum. Somebody posted the stuff, but
yeah, that's where you find all the good stuff. I'm just on their regular announcements where it's got like each movie, then like the special features under each of them. But it's good to hear that these are recent restorations. Yeah. They sound pretty recent.
Yeah. Now I will say this. So for collectors, there has been a rumor, not really a rumor, but there's been subtle clues that Indicator will actually be putting out something Mae West in the near future.
Related.
So being that they are a UK label versus Kino being American, there could be a very similar set, maybe a set of movies instead of just single releases that Indicator puts out. So, if you are, are region free available, which, if I didn't say before, invest in a region free player. It opens your collecting up to the world. So do that, please.
Yeah, they are relatively cheaper now than they've ever been before. Basically, they're kind of like what you would pay for a regular player.
Yeah.
Like usually the prices were astronomically more expensive when I bought one many, many moons ago.
Yeah.
But they're now much, much cheaper. Yeah, and what something we also want to bring up is that Kino has been, over the last year or so, I would say calendar year, Kino's been releasing a lot of small 3-film box sets.
Yeah.
Of specifically
Carol Lombard, Cary Grant.
Actor or actress related, like Carol Lombard, Rock Hudson, Cary Grant. I got the Barbara Stanwyck one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why didn't they just do this for Mae West? But I think the reason being is, from what Steven has just said, they are definitely putting a lot more effort when it comes to the restorations of these movies.
Yeah,
I think those sets.
Yeah, I think because they're putting more effort into each release, they want to get their money's worth. They're going to
selling them individually,
selling them separately. And of course, if there is an Indicator box set, and part of there was a clue in one of their newsletters that makes people think that this is going to happen. Also, if you look at the history, we did have Criterion put out that Dietrich von Sternberg set, and then the exact same set was released basically on Indicator, but in I would say personally, a better package.
What's interesting, it's a better package. What is also interesting is I think the Criterion set has more features.
Yeah.
But both sets have the same exact transfers.
Yeah. So
because someone actually asked me what the difference was the other day.
Yeah. Which, sneak peek into things we're thinking about. We're thinking about doing some sections of our episodes where we do a versus, which set is better than the other from a versus episode. Dietrich von Sternberg Criterion versus Dietrich von Sternberg Indicator. Which one do we like better? So we might do some episodes like that where we kind of compare releases. But so that in particular case could mean that could happen. I mean, Indicator is a UK label, and they might put out a whole big set. 9 films, or maybe they don't.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. So, and they don't skimp on features, so I'm sure they'll load it up, and it'll be a nice set. But that's kind of I think all we're gonna do for announcements and acquisitions. Or you know what? Let me real quick. I did pick up from the Kino, because Kino also had a sale.
Yes, it's still going on.
Yeah, I think it ends.
Right now. It's going on until April 5th.
Yes.
So if you have April 5th, 2021. So if you're listening to this between now and April 5th, it's still on.
Yeah. But I grabbed 10 movies.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Big man.
Yeah.
Big money bags.
Yeah. Well, not anymore.
Empty money bags.
My wife is gonna. If my wife knew how much I spend on movies, she would kill me. Luckily, we're at the beginning of a marriage, and she doesn't really look that far into my finances yet. But I did grab 10 movies. I got Cry Freedom that has Denzel Washington in it. Bluebeard's 8 Wives. I got Boomerang, Daisy Kenton, Far From Heaven.
Double nice.
Yeah, double nice. Triple nice. Foreign Affair. Hollywoodland, which is kind of a one I've been wanting to upgrade for.
Yeah, I have that DVD.
Yeah, I have that DVD.
I gotta get that Blu-ray.
And Mumford, which is the reason I got Mumford was because it looked like one of them movies, like small town movies that I love. It's got like I think Jason, what's his name from My Name Is Earl, Jason
Lee.
Jason Lee's in it. It's like a small little comedy in a small town kind of thing. Then My Boyfriend's Back, which looks like a culty 80s, like, weird kind of comic romance movie. And then The Paradigm Case, which is a Hitchcock film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, when they finally announced that movie was getting a Blu-ray release, I almost cried. Because...
Well, we know you did cry.
I probably
did cry.
I have it, and it's like... It was so hard. That movie and Under Capricorn, which I believe they also put out. Under Capricorn was impossible to get.
Yeah.
Because there was no real DVD release, and I was just trying to get that movie for years. Because it was the second movie that he did with Ingrid Bergman.
Yeah.
Because he did Notorious with her, and then I think he did Under Capricorn with her as well. And I think he also did... Spellbound, I think was also Ingrid Bergman. Yeah. But anywho, Under Capricorn was the movie he did after Rope. It was the movie he did in 1949, where he tried to use the same shooting technique in Under Capricorn, where it all looked like one shot, but he couldn't, he was just wasting so much film into trying to do it that he just forget it, and they just shot the movie regularly. But I wanted that movie for years. It's not even a good movie. It's not even a great movie. It's one of his lesser films that no one really talks about, but it's Technicolor. It's a period piece. I think Joseph Cotton's in it. Yeah.
But we look. We don't have to talk about. You don't have to explain yourself, Andrew.
Oh yeah.
We're collectors.
I gotta get him. I gotta get it.
Yeah, gotta get it. I mean, we don't have to explain ourselves. Just don't worry about what people say. Okay. But that is it for announcements and acquisitions. And
do you not want to talk about Warner Archive?
Damn it, that's a lot. Okay, fine. Real fast. All
right. Let me get my
get yours up. I'll say mine real quick.
Okay. Hit me.
So I've been, along with all the Hammer stuff I get from Indicator, I wanted to load up on my Hammer that Warner Archives has. And,
nice.
And I,
Hammer Time.
Yeah, Hammer Time. And also, of course, just getting more Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. So I got Dracula AD 1972. Also, I got The Curse of Frankenstein.
Nice.
In a 2-disc special edition there. We got The Satanic Rites of Dracula.
Great title.
Yeah, I know, right? And then probably the best of these movies, The Horror of Dracula.
It's the first one.
Yeah.
The first one with Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
That's the best one.
And then also I got a couple, dramas and comedies. I got The Bad and the Beautiful. And I got Libeled, I can't speak.
Libeled Lady.
Libeled Lady. Just having Spencer Tracy and William Powell in there it makes me excited for that movie. And then I got Days of Wine and Roses, which is something Blake Edwards directs it, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that movie. Dark movie.
Dark movie.
Yeah, I have the DVD.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's like, Jack Lemmon's in it as well as Lee Remick, I believe, or is it? Maybe not Lee Remick.
No, you're right, Lee Remick.
Is it Lee Remick? Yeah, I was right. Basically, I don't want to go into it because I don't want to spoil it. Go on.
And the last one I got is a classic, Cat on the High Tin Roof. Paul Newman, Elizabeth Taylor.
Love that movie.
Yeah, so I know Paul Newman's your favorite actor, so I know you have it.
Yeah, and I love Liz Taylor's one of my favorites too.
Yeah,
it's like a power team up.
Oh yeah.
It's also based on a Tennessee Williams play, Really good.
Awesome.
Really good. So yeah, this is the 4 for $44 sale that WB Shop /
I'll say
Archive.
this is the most addicting of the sales.
It's a really because that's a great. Whoever thought of that marketing 4 for $44 is a genius because that just gets you.
It's the most addicting of all these sales, honestly.
Because these Blu-rays tend to be around $18 a piece. Typically, if you're buying from Amazon, if you're buying from Warner WB Shop, they're typically like $21.99 a piece. Yeah. So that's even more. But these can be found for typically around $15 to $18 a piece. But $11 is
I think
pretty good price.
If you spend over a certain amount, you get free shipping.
Free shipping. Yeah. But this was billed as the final 4 for $44 sale. So that made people even buy even more.
But really, they're just changing distributors, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy theories. Either Warner Archives going bye-bye, which some people thought and are panic buying like crazy, or what is really happening is perhaps they're changing distributors. Therefore, we don't know if sales like this will ever happen again.
Yeah, we don't know if this particular sale will happen again. So yeah,
I really hope Warner Archive doesn't go anywhere because.
They have a great catalog. I mean, it's
the only way to get the back catalog of Warner Brothers releases on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
and they're gorgeous, wonderful, fantastic releases, beautiful transfers, and great stuff. I mean, their special features. They're basically just transferring the stuff from the old DVDs that they had put out years ago onto the Blu-ray disc, but the transfers are so great that I don't care.
I was going to say, Warner Archive is kind of almost in the line of Kino when it comes to their, packaging and special features.
Yeah, they're really not producing any new special features.
Yeah, but they do make the films look beautiful for the most part.
They do, yeah. So my list, I bought 7 titles. I got the Hudsucker Proxy, the Coen Brothers film, that stars Paul Newman, shocker there. I got The Bad and the Beautiful, also what Steven got. This is the Vincente Minnelli movie with Kirk Douglas is in it. It's a really great film about the negative world of Hollywood in movie making. Days of Wine and Roses, because I wanted to upgrade that DVD. Libeled Lady, because it's a great film, and I want to own it. I bought the Tex Avery Screwball Classics Volume 1. Ah. There's a Volume 2 of this, but I wanted Volume 1 because I love collecting kind of old animation type stuff, like Looney Tunes and Hanna-Barbera, which is also Warner Archive. I got the Jetsons set one time. They just came out with a Flintstone set, I believe. But yeah.
Also the Pink Panther stuff.
Oh yeah, the Pink Panther set. I have Volume 1. I'm basically just gonna eventually just buy the whole set that they have because they have all that old animation stuff, which I love. And the Tex Avery stuff, it's like Droopy and stuff like that. And I just want to at least get the first one, and then I'll get the second one later on. I also bought some Hammer, Curse of Frankenstein, which is Hammer's version of Frankenstein, starring. Steven, who's it starring?
Oh, damn. It stars, Peter Cushing.
Peter Cushing,
and, Hazel Court.
As Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah. And Christopher Lee's also in this.
Christopher Lee plays the monster, I believe.
Oh, does he play
he plays Frankenstein's monster. I've seen this film, but this has not been available in the United States, outside of DVD, ever. So this is the first time it's been on Blu-ray here. And I just want to get that whole set. The problem... it's another thing. The problem with collecting Hammer when it comes to Region 1 stuff here or Region A stuff in the United States is everybody seems to have a piece of it everywhere.
Yeah.
To get all the Hammer Frankenstein stuff with Christopher Lee, you have to buy this release here. You got to go to another label and buy another release.
The tough thing is Hammer was a UK company.
Yeah,
so it's they have everything over there, and we have to fight for it, to get it over here.
Yeah, and when it comes to here, it's different companies have different qualities and different releases, and it's just a pain in the ass. But then after that, I got After the Thin Man, which is the second film in the Thin Man series.
They're doing we were just talking about this. They already announced the third movie in that series. Why don't they just put out a box set?
Another Thin
Why
Man.
don't they just put out the box set? They're obviously putting these all out singly.
I know it's gonna be. You know what would be a big
I'm gonna be
like,
pissed.
shot in the arm would be if they put them all in a box set afterwards.
I'm gonna be pissed.
Like we were just talking about the Pink Panther. The Pink Panther was actually put out by Kino. It's put out by Kino, and they released each volume individually, and then they put it in a box set. So I was like, "Go screw you guys."
The thing is,
they did.
I'm not going to be too upset because Kino box sets are not that fantastic anyway.
Oh, the Pink Panther one is. It's pretty cheap, pretty expensive.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like they're not that sturdy. They're like thin card. Like
thin cardboard.
Kino sets are not
price-wise.
Kino sets are not too amazing, so I won't be too mad.
I wouldn't be too mad. But they're also Kino's also releasing like the old Popeye stuff from like the 40s. That's all stuff I grew up on and whatnot. So I've been like that's why I bought the Tex Avery Screw.
But I mean, Warner doesn't put out like box sets in their archive. Not
sometimes. But it's basically just releases that they've already have. Like they won't come out with a box set that is of something new that they haven't put out previously.
Yeah.
At least not yet. Like they put out like a Hitchcock when they put out
obviously they're straight up Warner Brothers brand puts out tons of box sets.
Yeah, they put out an Alfred Hitchcock 4-film collection that has Dial M for Murder, I Confess, The Wrong Man, and Suspicion, but they also had released those individually previously. Yeah. And what is Warner Archives also doing as well? They are re-releasing previous back catalog Warner Brothers titles that already had mainstream releases from the mainstream branch of Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
For example, Dial M for Murder, the 3D version, had come out by Warner Brothers years ago. I know because I bought it. I have it. They've also been doing that for things like Cabaret. They're re-releasing it in a Warner Archive version. The only main difference is, from what I understand, is obviously the packaging is different.
Yeah.
And it says Warner Archive on it. And also, when it comes to Cabaret, I think Cabaret came with a soundtrack or something like that because it is a musical. But the Warner Archive release, I don't believe, does. And the Cabaret had a digibook release and a regular release and now a Warner Archive release, so it's like different packaging.
Okay.
So it really all depends. And they've done that with a few of their films. Like Guys and Dolls, I think, had a digibook release from Warner Brothers, and now it's got a regular Warner Archive re-release. They've been doing that for a bunch of their titles. So Warner Brothers is basically just reutilizing Warner Archive.
Yeah, I mean, like we're seeing Paramount doing this with their Paramount Presents line.
Let me talk about them.
Yeah, we'll get to them maybe in another episode.
In another life.
Yeah, but did you get?
I thought that I said it on the previous on Cinema Discovery Project. They woke up from like a 5 to 6 year long coma and decided to put out their back catalog of movies now.
Yeah.
In Blu-ray form when 4K is kind of like taking over.
Whatever. Let them have fun.
Let them have fun. Let them do it.
Let the kids have fun.
Let the kids have fun. Although they are re-releasing some of their stuff back catalog in 4K. Like I believe My Fair Lady is getting a 4K re-release, which is kind of nice. Okay.
Well, did you get all your releases out? Did you say everything?
Oh, yes, I did. I got them all. Okay. That was all 7 of them.
All right, cool.
Right? I can't count anymore.
Well, yeah, I can't either. I can never remember how many things I've bought. I got so many things on pre-order. I mean, but that's
a different talk for a different time. That's a different
talk for a different time. Okay. I should have just called. You should have just called this podcast "Confessions of Movie Addicts" or something like that.
Yeah.
But all right, so we're gonna move on to our last kind of segment of the show. The second half, you can say almost, or the last quarter of the show, which is going to be kind of focused in on something personal about our collections or something, and
like a main topic.
A main topic.
Supposed to be our main topic.
I mean, there was a lot of announcements this week, so that segment lasted a good portion of the episode. So we're going to make this pretty swift, but we'll get into it. We decided so you can help get to know some of our collection, what we go after. And of course, this is just a bite size, but we decided we wanted to give you kind of like each of us five of our kind of favorite releases from the boutique labels that we have in our own collections, and we'll go back and forth and briefly talk about each release and why we love them and why we love the films. And you want to start, Andrew?
Sure. And these are in no particular order
particular.
because, like Steven says, it's like choosing your favorite child.
Yeah.
Can't really do it.
No.
I mean, some people can.
I mean, I
Some people
can,
can,
but
I
I mean,
guess.
it's,
Whatever.
I'm not going to say it out loud. I mean, I don't want to put it on record.
Come on now. For first up here is the limited edition, release of RoboCop from Arrow Video. And the reason why I chose this is, one, because I always really loved the film RoboCop, and two, it's because it's a gorgeous release. It's one of their limited editions are indeed limited. So once they kind of sell out and disappear, they can get quite expensive. And I don't know what the number is when it comes to how many, because they never really tell you. But I chose RoboCop because it's the one that I think I kind of sought after the most. And it took me a while to finally track a copy of this down. And what killed me is that it was affordable when it came out, super affordable.
Yeah.
And I just me and my indifferent, procrastinating self just waited, but I did end up finding it. And what I love about it is it's a 2-disc edition, comes with 3 cuts of the movie. There's a movie poster inside. It's a new, I believe it's a new 4K restoration of from the original camera negative by MGM. It was transferred in 2013, so it's a little bit of an older transfer now, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. And the boxes, and the box construction, I should say more specifically from Arrow, is always really solid. Some of the best, just sturdy cardboard I've ever seen. Some other boutique distributors use very thin, cheap cardboard, and they always bend and show shelf wear. But Arrow is really solid. It comes with a hardcover book, I believe, as well. And I actually did it's a softcover book. I did a whole Blu-ray review for this on my channel, Capzilla Productions, and it's just a really encompassing set. Tons of special features. Absolutely, just too many to read out right now. I actually had to read all of this out. It was a long video to make. It was a really long video.
So basically, he's saying go to his video that get a more in depth. Get the supplement.
Yeah, really.
That's our special features to this podcast, is to go to his YouTube channel and
you gotta plug it until
you
gotta fake it till you make it.
Well, that's whatever. That
doesn't really apply.
I was gonna say that doesn't work, but okay, because you're not faking it, you're doing it. Yeah,
I'm doing it. True. So you always gotta sell.
You got to do it. You got to do it to it. Okay. All right.
I don't even know if that one.
I don't even know either. But,
but RoboCop, the Arrow edition, limited edition, is one of my favorite sets. There is a non-limited edition, which you basically just get the on-disc contents. You don't get any of the extra swag when it comes to like the booklet or like these cool like postcards and things like that. But Arrow is one of the best when it comes to just quality releases you'll find. Definitely. In the boutique world, whether it's Arrow here in the US or Arrow UK, the difference tends to be is the region encoding.
Yeah.
Obviously we're in region A land here. In the UK, it's region B.
Yeah.
That seems to be the only release. The only difference.
That release is region free though, isn't it? Or is it?
It says I think it's region A and B.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one you can watch on any player. Or not on any player. Well, yeah, you can watch it on any player.
What is odd is that usually...
It should be on the outside of the box, isn't it?
No, it's not here. Usually it says A. It has a little A or B, or A, B, and C for all region. But no, it doesn't have any of those. Oh, it says region A.
Okay.
There's a little
there
A
you
here.
Go. So, if you're in the U.S., you can definitely grab this and watch this. I'm not sure how available that limited is, but it's probably...
Yeah, what sucks is it's probably expensive.
It's probably hard to get now, but
that's why I want to mention the regular release.
Yeah,
because at least you can watch the movie.
Yeah, I own it. It's great. It's a great release. I agree with you. It's definitely a solid.
Yeah, another thing for collectors: don't hesitate when it comes to limited editions, because you may end up screwing yourself.
Yeah,
like I do all the time.
Yeah. All right. Well,
unlike Steven.
That's great. So first one I'm going to throw at you is this is probably one of an older release I have. So you could say maybe eventually some of these releases could get better restorations, but I mean, from what I've seen, these all look great. And it's a BFI release of a collection of films from Hirokazu Koreeda, who's one of my favorite Japanese filmmakers. And the name of the set's Of Flesh and Blood. And
Great title.
Yeah,
it's a great title.
Yeah, and it's got 4 of his films. It's got Maborosi, I'm sorry, Afterlife, Nobody Knows, and Still Walking. Now, when I bought this set, I had already owned 3 of these films, actually. I already owned Maborosi from, I think, an Artificial Eye release. And then I had bought the Criterion of Still Walking. And Afterlife, I had actually went out of my way and bought a Japanese release of that film because I really wanted it. And it's an amazing movie, Afterlife, if you have never seen it. So the only movie I really got new out of this set was Nobody Knows. And that movie is, if you haven't seen Nobody Knows, that's a tough movie to watch. At least it was for me, about a kid that basically gets a family of kids, like 4 kids that gets abandoned by their mother in an apartment building. And it's just about them trying to survive. And it's pretty rough, but it's part of kind of like a series of films that Koreeda's kind of been, he says that this movie, I think also he connects it with like Father, like Son, and Shoplifters. It's kind of an unofficial trilogy about unconventional families, and this is kind of the beginning of that, and it's a fantastic movie, beautifully photographed, and I actually got a chance to meet him when I went to the Telluride Film Festival a couple years ago, and he was very, very nice, and being able to see Shoplifters with him there was amazing. But yes, this set is in a sturdy, hard kind of digipack. All the films are in their own kind of like small slip cases, little plastic slip cases, and it also has a 72-page booklet, so a really big booklet with a lot of essays. I will say that if there was a negative about it, there isn't like a ton of special features. Like it's like very kind of like archival, like behind the scenes stuff. There are some interviews, some things like that, but nothing like crazy. There are a few like kind of like kind of like college Q&As, like little things like that. So there is some stuff in here, but not crazy amounts of special features for a set that has 4 movies. But the movies themselves are great packaged together. You can get a good chunk of his great work all in one set. And it's relatively cheap. I think it went for like $40 on BFI's website. It's like roughly around that area. So, Of Flesh and Blood, the cinema of Hirokazu Koreeda. Get it.
Nice. It's a shame that a lot of his movies don't have releases here at all.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
It's mostly getting UK's getting all the releases. I think Artificial Eyes actually released a lot more of his stuff. Like I think he has a few other movies from them, like Our Little Sisters, I think, is one of his films that has an Artificial Eye release. He might have a couple other ones, but I can't remember. I think there's a movie he did called The Third Murder that was put out by, I think, Artificial Eye, or it's maybe Film Movement.
Film Movement here in the States.
Yeah.
Here in the States, Third Murder, After the Storm is both put out by Film Movement.
Which, Arrow put out a set with 3 of his films, Like Father, Like Son, After the Storm, and I Wish, which I have that also.
Oh,
yeah,
nice. Yeah, all Criterion put out Still Walking here, and Milestone has put out Maborosi. But Shoplifters still doesn't have a Blu-ray here. The movie came out, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why
amazing.
That never got a... That movie's so prime for a Criterion release. Screaming out for one.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
But moving on to me, I guess I'll stick in the UK realm since we're all UKing it up.
Do it.
I'm going to go with the William Castle at Columbia set Volume 1, which has The Tingler, 13 Ghosts, Homicidal, and Mr. Sardonicus. And basically, this set here blew me away, not specifically for the quality of the movies, because William Castle's movies are kind of like lesser versions of a more macabre Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
They're more entertaining and more like
They're gimmicky. They're gimmicky.
They're gimmicky, and they're there to just entertain audiences and all that kind of stuff. Whereas, Hitchcock was more highbrow, but also was super entertaining as well. But what really blew me away about this set was the special features. The quality of them was amazing. Like this set here, if you didn't know anything about William Castle and you went and you just bought this set and was like, and watched the movies and then watched the special features, you would learn so much about William Castle and just the world of his cinema at that time, and just the world of cinema at that time, and what his films meant at that time, and why they were successful, and why they're still successful now, and just all the different gimmicks and things that he would use. And also, the films all look fantastic. There's a high definition remasters of all of the 4 films. There's a wealth of commentaries and new special features. And this is, like I said earlier when we were talking about Indicator, this is a limited edition box set. Each movie has its own booklet. They all have reversible covers. And yeah, I just absolutely was blown away by this set. I had known who William Castle was. I had seen his film House on Haunted Hill, which is probably one of his most well-known films of all time. And that film is not in this set, and it's not in the second set, so it's not all of his movies.
Yeah.
Basically, you're just getting like 8 of his movies across 2 sets. But this set here is from, I think, 1959 to 1961 of his career. But it gets into all of his stuff, and there's only 6,000 of these that were made. And I absolutely love the packaging. I love the cover art. I love the art on each of the individual Blu-ray cases themselves. And I really actually prefer having individual Blu-ray cases when it comes to multi-movie box sets, because you get kind of more bang for your buck. Also, you're gonna know that the discs are protected, and they're not in like a digipack. They're not in like some fold-out monstrosity. Yeah. They're not in sleeves. Yeah. Good gracious, there's a whole sleeve problem going on right now.
It's a structural thing. I mean, when they're
it's a structural thing.
Yeah,
and it's like I paid. When you pay.
$100 almost.
If you pay $60 or $70 for something, you want it to be decent quality.
Yeah.
Especially when you're importing this stuff. So yeah, I absolutely love this set. And there's such a wealth of Indicator stuff that I really love. I mean, I love this set. I love the Ray Harryhausen set, which is also really fantastic, and just very educational. What I love getting out of a release, especially an expensive release, is how much information can I get out of this? Not just the movies themselves, but like how much are they telling me? Like how much education am I getting out of it?
And that's,
I know, I just love learning about movies.
Yeah, I mean that, that goes back to what I said earlier about how I look at my collection as like an archive, a library, something I can continue to learn from. And that's why I blind buy a lot, because I'm just building up my library so that I can go in and pull something off the shelf and learn more things.
Right.
And
yeah,
it's what's exciting about film and film collecting.
Yeah, and let me plug this right away. I also did a Blu-ray review of William Castle at Columbia Volume 1 at Capzilla Productions on YouTube.
Of course he did, son of a bitch.
Of course you did. I think I'm just going to end up doing Blu-ray reviews of all of these releases just to coincide
probably
with
even
this
some
episode.
Of mine. Even some of mine.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah. But all right.
Yeah.
Cool. I have that set too. It is a great set. The Tingler is the highlight of that. I love the Tingler.
Yeah, the Tingler's the best movie in the set.
Yeah.
Like I said, the movies aren't that great, but they're lots of fun.
They're lots of fun. Yeah.
Lots of fun.
All right. So,
I love the gimmicks.
Yeah, yeah. And so my next one I'm going to bring up, highlight here is this is a big one. This is a Best Picture winner. And to me, what got me about this release, other than the fact that the packaging was amazing, the artwork was amazing, it's the great transfer. This new 4K transfer of The Apartment by Billy Wilder, like, first time I put this on in my player and watched it, I was like, was this movie made yesterday? Because it looks amazing. This movie's from 1960. And it looks amazing. Like, the restoration on this, I mean, of course, this was a Best Picture winner, so they probably had a lot of good material to work with when it came to, restoring this to the best quality possible. And it looks amazing. But I don't have to tell you, this movie's great. I mean, you agree with me, I'm assuming, right?
Oh, yeah, it's one of the best, I would even say one of the best picture winners, but it's one of the best Billy Wilder films of all time.
I mean, Jack Lemmon in this movie, he's so, I mean, I find him to be relatable. I mean, like, being the guy that, like, is trying to please people and then they kind of take advantage of you sometimes. Like, being that guy and, liking a girl and her not liking you back, that's stuff that we've dealt with.
It's relatable.
It's relatable. But it's such a great movie. Shirley MacLaine's in it, of course, also. Fred McMurray.
Yeah, Fred McMurray, who's playing, like, just an asshole in this movie. And it's because my introduction to Fred McMurray was the sitcom My Three Sons.
Yeah.
Where he's playing, like an all-time loving dad. And it's just odd to see him just play a real asshole in this movie. And, of course, I saw him in Double Indemnity, where he's just seduced by Barbara Stanwyck into all kind of bad shenanigans.
Yeah.
But he's also, kind of going along with it too.
Yeah. But
go on.
Yeah, but the release is fantastic. It also comes with a pretty good size hardbound book with essays and pictures and what script notes is in there, I think. It's an amazing release. It has a reversible cover. Great hardbound digipack. So yeah, I mean, it's one of my favorite releases that I've gotten over the years, and it's one I've went back to watch multiple times because it's so beautiful. So yeah, that's
it may have been the first limited edition Arrow US release that I ever got, because it came out in December of 2017.
Yeah,
and I remember there being a whole bunch of we talked about it on the podcast at the time. There was an issue with its release where some people, like, it was available, then it wasn't available, then it was available again, or it was super tough to get. And I think what happened is it was super tough to get, so I told Steven, get it while you can. Basically,
well, I mean, like, I got mine right away.
Yeah,
I got mine. Yeah, I pre-ordered mine and I got mine on time. I guess they maybe had
they pulled the pre-orders. That's what was happening. Yeah. We talked about it at the time. They were, like, pulling people's pre-order, like, canceling people's pre-orders, and then some people got it and some people didn't get it. Yeah. I don't even remember how I got mine.
Yeah, I got mine right off the bat. I was lucky. I was one of the lucky ones.
I can't remember if I got it from, like, deepdiscount.com or someplace.
I think I ordered mine.
I know it wasn't Amazon.
I ordered mine straight from Arrow Films, so I think that's why I got mine.
Steven does that a lot. He goes straight to the source.
Sometimes
I'm on the outside because I'm trying to look for those deals.
Well, I mean, sometimes I'm with you. I mean, in most cases, honestly, I'm with you there. I actually order a lot of my things through Diabolic DVD. I like their site. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about other sites to buy these movies from maybe in the future, but like Indicator, I buy straight from Indicator. Sometimes I buy straight Criterions from them, but it just depends on what's going on. Yeah, I mean, I remember that happening with the release of Apartment, and I got lucky. I got mine right away, so that was great. But it's one of my favorite releases. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah,
I
love that
absolutely,
movie.
like, adore that movie.
All right.
For me, I'll go to another release I adore, and this was one when it was announced I couldn't be more happier, and that is the Before trilogy, three films by Richard Linklater. And I had owned these movies. The first two were actually only available on DVD. Before Sunrise and Before Sunset were only available on DVD here in the States. Before Midnight had come out in 2013, so it got a Blu-ray release when it came out. So I still have that regular Blu-ray release actually, because I think there's actually a special feature on there that this doesn't have. It's some talk. It's someplace. That's why I hold on to it. But this has just 3 of all-time favorite movies for me personally, specifically Before Sunrise and Before Sunset, which I've talked about many times on here over the years on Cinema Discovery Project, and now obviously Chasing Labels. And this is from the Criterion Collection. There's a DVD set as well as a Blu-ray set, and this was number 856. The box was, and then each of the films were 857, 858, 859. Steven, I'm going to drop this again on you. I also did a review of this at one point in time on my YouTube channel. This is completely coincidence. I didn't plan this. But coincidentally, that video was one of my all-time most watched videos. And when I tell you out there, people, my videos do not get a lot of views. But this gets so many reviews.
Well, I can tell you right now. This will tell you the dedication of this man over here.
Yeah.
You know, he does it because he loves it.
Right.
You know, I'm not trying to put down his channel or anything, but yeah, he doesn't. It's not like he's become some big star or something on YouTube.
I wish
he wishes. I'm sure he would love to have more people listening to what he's saying, but he continues to do it, and he's done it for years, doing these video essays and things like that because he loves film. So you should go over there and check out his videos because he's really putting time and effort into being able to give you evaluations of his releases and reviews of some films. He used to do a lot more reviews, but now he's primarily looking at Blu-ray releases, right?
Yeah, and it is. I mean, people will give you the false sense of that YouTubing in any sense or any way or any level is easy, and it kind of really isn't. If you want to put any real effort into it, it's time consuming.
When you're doing something where you don't get immediate gratification, it's hard. You know, when you're doing some kind of performance thing, you know,
the actual physical doing it, and then the editing, and then the uploading, and then just sharing it is you never know who's seeing it, how many people are seeing it. I mean, sometimes things hit, sometimes things don't. Yeah. Sometimes you think things are going to hit and they just don't. It really all depends.
I mean, that was some Dr. Seuss stuff you just did there. It sounded really.
It really was.
Yeah.
I didn't even.
I shouldn't even have brought. Why did I bring up Dr. Seuss? God, everybody's going to hate us now.
What's mind-boggling is that some of the releases that you're talking about, The Apartment, I also did a video of, and the Before trilogy I did one of, and this was years ago when I first got the set. But this set here is one of my all-time favorite Criterion releases.
The artwork is amazing.
The artwork is so just gorgeous, literal artwork. It comes in each individual thin packs.
Yeah.
So it goes back to the days where Criterion still does it, but not as often. Is they would put each film into these thin packs, these cardboard thin packs. Now you heard the word cardboard and you're freaking out, but don't freak out because each of them had plastic hubs inside of them that would hold the discs. The discs aren't floating around in the ether.
They're not in like a folder slide.
Yeah, they're not in cardboard sleeves or anything like that. I've seen those travesties. But each movie comes in its own sleeve. There's a booklet here, and these movies I think are just some of the all-time great romance movies. They're so simple yet so profound, and this release has lots of special features. If you're not familiar with the Before trilogy and you want to blind buy something, I would highly recommend buying this set. I love Richard Linklater as a director. His film Dazed and Confused is also part of the Criterion Collection. That's also one of my all-time favorite releases. And Boyhood also is another one. But these films here, I believe, there's a new 2K digital transfers of Before Sunrise and Before Sunset, and a 2K digital master of Before Midnight. So that was probably done right when the movie came out. Because this release is that old. By old, I mean probably came out in 2000 and something. I can look that up right now. But yeah, it's a beautiful digipack set. Yeah, this release came out in 2017. So now not that long ago. Yeah. Wow, that seems like forever ago. Another lifetime. But yeah, the movies each star Ethan Hawke as well as Julie Delpy, and they're just magical, wonderful movies. It's about love and life, the ups and downs and human connection, and it's really profound stuff that really hits home on a very personal level.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
I love these movies. Yeah. Funny enough, most people love that middle movie the most.
Yeah, we talk about this all
we
the
talk
time.
about
We're
this,
like
yeah.
the two people that love the first one the most.
Well, I love the first one the most, but I'm also a really big fan of the third film. Like I though it is probably the hardest one to watch because it's the most real.
It's the midnight of a loving relationship, and it's the most real in the sense like, man, does love persist
the romance?
over time?
It's like the romance. We're past the romance.
Yeah, it's like how powerful is love and human connection over a long distance of time, and that strain, man, that strain, that's real stuff. You see this all the time where people, fighting and have interpersonal relationship problems and things like that.
Just put it this way:
movie.
if you want to compare it to a recent film, that scene in Marriage Story where they argue.
That's the whole third act of the movie.
You think that was rough to get through?
Watch that scene with Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson. That one scene where he punches the wall.
Yeah.
That's the whole third act of this movie.
So strap yourself in and watch.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, is you follow this couple from what's amazing in these movies is they're 10 years apart, and it's 10 years of real time. Like the characters have moved in their world 10 years. So it's a real journey here.
Yeah.
The first one was in 95, the second one was 2004, and the last one was 2013. So 9 years or so. I was close. I like to think of things in chunks of decades. But hopefully maybe one day we'll get a fourth movie.
I think we're good.
I don't need it, but
I know,
cool.
but nah, I think and we passed the time where it would actually
we did.
Yeah.
Damn you, time.
9 years has already passed.
Yeah, it would have been 2013. 9 years would be next year.
So he would have to have been making it by now.
Yeah. So 2022, which is next year.
Maybe he's been doing it. We didn't know he was making Boyhood for 12
he
years.
made Boyhood secretly for 12 years.
So who knows?
Who knows? Okay, next.
All right, next. Well, I might as well get this out of the way because you just keep stealing all my releases and by making YouTube videos for them. But
just do it.
I'm just gonna drop it down. This is one of my favorite filmmakers. So I have to throw this release from Criterion, the Apu trilogy. Which
there it is.
Go to Cabzilla06 for the full-on review of this.
This is one of my earliest videos, and I still get comments on it from people.
Because he's a filmmaker that's still being discovered by a lot of people, and there are a lot of cinephiles that know about Satyajit Ray, and know how amazing he is. And this Apu trilogy is kind of what got him. It was the first Apu movie was his first movie, and these films are amazing. All of them are, to me, 5-star movies. And this, the one thing about the Apu trilogy is these were movies that were almost lost to us. They almost got burned in a fire. We would have never seen them, but they got saved. And thank God, because they're amazing films. Story of Apu, his life, in 3 different kind of like Boyhood would eventually be, just a little bit different, split up into 3 movies and over, a little bit longer part of somebody's life. But
yeah, and I believe it's different actors. Well, the same actor for the second and third film.
Yes.
But different actor for the first film.
But fantastic release. It comes in kind of the same kind of packaging as the Before trilogy. It has 3 kind of cardboard digipacks. And there's special features for all the films on all these discs, and a 3-disc special edition. I just can't say enough. Like I said, just go to his YouTube channel and watch his video, because his video essay is going to be a lot more elaborate. But I love.
I don't want to plug it again.
No, go ahead,
but
man.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying go. I plugged it for you, so.
That's true. It's a double plug.
Yeah, a double plug.
It's
amazing.
To me. We talked about Satyajit Ray or Rai.
I think it's Rai.
Either way, either way, say it with love. But we've talked about his films before, specifically the Apu trilogy, and that box set is everything you need to know when it comes to Satyajit Ray. I knew nothing about him at all.
Yeah,
I didn't
me
know
either,
about
yeah.
his movies. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know what he meant to like cinephiles and cinema in general. And I went through that box set, and it was like going through a film school course.
Yeah.
It was film school in a box, and it was amazing, like life-changing experience.
Yeah, I mean, it set me. It was the first time in a long time that I have kind of been like so set off by a filmmaker. Finding a filmmaker I had never found before, and it sent me on this like rampage to watch more of his stuff. And of course, I purchased all the rest of the stuff that came from Criterion. They had already released Music Room. They'd also have
The Big City.
The Big City, which is maybe my favorite maybe of his films. The Hero, which is the last time we've gotten a release from him, which is now.
Yeah, and then Charlotta was in there as well.
Yeah. And of course, some of his shorts are on these releases too.
Yeah, there is a late Ray Eclipse set
Yes.
that I have as well.
Yes.
Where it has his last group of films that he did. He did get an honorary Oscar very late in his career, to the point where I think he passed away right after.
I think it was 1992 Oscars.
Yeah, and you can see one of the special features is him getting his honorary Oscar, and he's they have to video conference him in, and this is the early 90s. This is before Zoom, before any of this, and he was and I believe the person who presented it to him was Audrey Hepburn.
No, that's nice.
And she pronounced it as Satyajit Ray. So if Audrey Hepburn pronouncing it, I would just go with what she says. And then she passed away coincidentally right around the same time. I think because I believe she passed away in 1993 or so.
Okay,
so that would have been around the same time. But yeah, amazing box set. That video, I don't know what it did, but it's got thousands of views, and every now and then I get comments on it from people from India.
Yeah.
Saying, thank you, just saying, Rai was the best. Thank you for making this video, et cetera, et cetera. And
I get the same thing with random, because I actually got a shirt made for him. When an image of him, it says Satyajit Ray on it, and I took a picture of myself wearing it, and I've gotten many people from around the world that comment on that particular picture, yes,
yeah. But apparently he was an international icon, for the lack of a better term.
Yeah.
I was just late to the game.
Yeah,
I kind of regret being late to that game, because it seemed like a game everybody was in.
Well, I mean, we if we know anything about Indian, Bengali cinema, is that particularly Bollywood films are the ones that get the notice from there, but their more intimate drama stuff is not as prominent,
Bollywood is, I think, the second biggest movie studio
world
outside of Hollywood in the United States. Yeah, who really knows what Hollywood's doing? So that's awesome. But making the transition back over to me is another Criterion box set. Ooh. Shocker. And it's an early one that I bought. I think it's the first one I ever bought. And this was another blind buy for me. I just bought it. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I bought this 2010. That's how long ago this was. It's America Lost and Found, the BBS story.
Nice. Yeah.
And it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that 6 films? 7 films. It has Ahead, Easy Rider, 5 Easy Pieces, Drive, He Said, A Safe Place, The Last Picture Show, and The King of Marvin Gardens. But what's awesome about this set is not only the movies, but it's the special features, because you get the whole backstory of the BBS.
Yeah.
And just this production company at the time that was kind of born out of the 1960s independent underground cinema type stuff. Think something that was born out of the Roger Corman School and all that kind of awesome stuff. And these are people that you're going to recognize: Dennis Hopper, Jack Nicholson, Peter Bogdanovich. We talked about a lot of this when we did
an episode.
The episode of just 70s American New Age cinema in Hollywood.
I think we also
the Cinema Discovery Project.
Yeah, we also reviewed 5 Easy Pieces, I think.
We did do 5 Easy Pieces in and of itself, but I think the biggest movie from this set, and maybe most well known, is Easy Rider.
No, it's the movie Head, directed by
clearly
Dennis Hopper.
With the monkeys. Yeah, with the monkeys. Introducing the monkeys.
Yeah.
But for me, my favorite, and I think one of the most underrated movies, probably one of the best movies I've ever seen, period, is The Last Picture Show by Peter Bogdanovich. I think that movie is absolutely amazing. But this was an earlier box set from the Criterion Collection, so it's not going to be like super like not like like things like the two. Yeah, it's not going to be.
I think it's only got a Blu-ray edition now. I think the DVD.
Well, this already has a Blu-ray edition.
Well, it does. I'm saying it's only on Blu-ray now. I think it used to have a DVD that's out of print now.
Did it have a DVD release?
Yeah.
I know the Blu-ray edition of this set is still in print. They have re-released 5 Easy Pieces as an individual release.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised. Did they re-release Easy Rider as an individual release? I don't think they did.
I think so.
Maybe they. I don't know. I know that Easy Rider had an individual release put out by Sony, actually, because the BBS had a distribution deal, I think, with Columbia Pictures at the time.
Okay.
That's part of the whole backstory. We get into a lot of that. But yeah, this set came out in 2010, and I probably bought this April 29th, 2011. I couldn't tell you. That was when I started buying Criterions. Because I had no idea what Criterions really were circa 2011, and they were just having a random sale on Amazon at the time, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I heard people talk about like this set. I heard people talk about like a Marcord. I heard people talk about Breathless. I heard people talk about Wings of Desire. I bought that back then too. So I was just buying random.
I mean,
discs,
yeah. When you,
like,
I think when you get into these boutique labels, you start out looking for like stuff from the directors you know. So, like, you know, you look for Hitchcock, you look for, you know.
Thing is, my 2011 self, I was like 24 years old. I had no idea about any of these people.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Sure, yeah.
And I was just like,
well, everybody starts.
started getting.
You get dazed and confused because you've heard of it. And you like that.
Like I was just starting to get into, like Criterion and stuff like that because I didn't go to the Barnes & Noble Criterion sale until that year. I've said this a million times. My first 2 Criterions at that sale were the Wes Anderson film Darjeeling Limited, and I think I bought The Thin Red Line.
Okay.
I think those were my first 2. And I didn't know hardly anything about either of them. I think I had heard of Wes Anderson, and I had heard that The Thin Red Line was a World War II movie.
Yeah,
I think that was it. I didn't even really know who Terrence Malick was. But at the time, I picked up this set, and then I just started watching these movies, and I started watching the features, and it just exploded my 24-year-old mind into like, holy crap, this is amazing. You're talking about like the history of movies and all in this movement and all these great movies in here.
And of course, this was you're a Scorsese fan, a big Scorsese fan.
Yeah.
So this was a time where he kind of came up into prominence. Was during the
70s. Yeah.
60s into 70s.
Late 60s, early 70s. Yeah, the earliest film in this set is Head, which came out in 1968. And then the last one was Kingdom Marvin Gardens, which was 1972. And yeah, Bob Rafelson is a guy I know specifically from this set here. And this set here doesn't have, like I said, it's not going to have like 4K restorations or 2K restorations. This was before people knew what those things were, basically. So it has new restored high-definition digital transfers with uncompressed monaural soundtracks, optional surround soundtracks for Head and Easy Rider, and there's an audio commentaries for Head, Easy Rider, 5 Easy Pieces, A Safe Place, and The Last Picture Show.
All right, we're not doing a full review of it.
That was it. That's honestly it. There's nothing else.
You need to go make a video on your page for this if you need to.
You know, I'm doing it right after this video,
well,
right after we're done
to.
recording. Like this is happening today. I can't let this end here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this. Absolutely love this set. There's a booklet inside, but I will warn you, when it comes to Criterion, the cardboard for a lot of these digipack releases of their earlier sets. These things warp like crazy, and these things really aren't the sturdiest stuff. So each individual movie does come in that small, like thin cardboard digipack with the plastic holders. But yeah, they tend to bend. They do tend to bend.
They're better than Kino sets, but they're not as good as some other ones.
Yeah. Like I've had this set, like I said, now for over 9 years, and it's still fine. It's still good. I like to make sure nothing bad happens to any of these.
Yeah.
I almost just knocked out every
He
single.
just literally
thing out of
almost
the box.
destroyed it.
Yeah, I almost knocked over the whole computer.
Yeah,
This was gonna be a
yeah,
mess.
it would have sucked. All right, well, we got each two
Yeah,
more.
get to your final one.
Yeah, well, I got two. We got two more.
Oh, you got two. I have one.
Okay. All right. So this is a film I recently discovered, and this is from one of the smaller boutique labels. They're called Grindhouse Releasing. And this is a film I recently discovered, and I loved it, and this release is gorgeous. It's a film called The Swimmer, starring Burt Lancaster. And if I describe this movie to you, you might find it to be the most boring movie ever. It's about a man who decides he wants to swim home through his neighborhoods, his friends' neighbors' pools, all the way to his house. So it's about him, going, without giving anything. I don't want to give the movie away, but it's him discovering things about himself as he swims home. And to me, this was a big discovery. I mean, I love this movie. Burt Lancaster, I think, gives maybe one of his most impressive performances in this movie. He also is a good-looking man. I think he was in his mid-50s at this time, which is pretty amazing. Also, this comes in like an embroidered, digipack case. It actually comes with a CD, with the soundtrack on it. So you can get the soundtrack, and it has, I think, a reversible cover also with a booklet. It's 2-disc, so you can get the DVD in here if you want it. And for me, one of the big things is the special features. It has a 2.5-hour documentary of kind of the making of this movie from before production to the end, to its release. And it's a very awesome documentary. Gives you a lot of insight on Burt Lancaster himself, and how he felt about acting and where he was in his life at that time. And it's a great documentary. So yeah, this was a great discovery for me, The Swimmer, and it's become one of my favorite things I've bought recently. You've seen The Swimmer, right?
I've seen the movie. I have to get that edition because it sounds fantastic. There was an earlier edition of that movie that came out a few years ago, which I also didn't get, but I'm glad I kind of waited for this one.
Yeah. Because it's a new 4K transfer, so there you go.
Yeah, it's put out by the same company.
Okay.
Grindhouse, right?
Yeah, Grindhouse Releasings.
Grindhouse Releasing. Yeah, that's a great movie. The whole movie is just one long metaphor.
Yeah.
About, like, I called it, like, it's like Bergman's Wild Strawberries, but like with Burt Lancaster and swimming.
Yeah.
Just kind of like each pool he goes to and each place he goes to is like a different part of his life's journey.
He's dissecting.
Really,
it's like
really
dissecting each pool he goes to, helps dissect another, kind of breaks the armor down of things he's
part of his life.
Yeah.
Different parts of his life. It's a great movie. I love the movie. I guess transitioning into my one, good thing I just brought up Bergman.
Yeah.
Oh man, what a genius transition!
Damn, your transitions are.
This box set is maybe, for me personally, is probably one of the box sets to end all box sets. And it is Ingmar Bergman's Cinema, and I believe it's all of his movies.
I don't think it's everything. It's pretty close.
Is it not everything?
No, I think it's missing.
I'll say this: if it's not all of his movies, it's 38 movies.
It's got a good amount of them, but I think it's missing some of his titles from later.
I don't know what
titles.
it's missing.
We can't figure this out now, Andrew.
I can't figure this out. Anyway, it's got stuff that ranges from 1946 to 2003. It's 38 movies on, I want to say 30 discs. It's a massive set in size and in theory, and it was done to coincide with, I believe, his 100th birthday, which he's no longer with us, but it came out in 2018, and this is a massive, heavy set. Like, literally, it's huge. It's like, just to pick this thing up, it weighs a couple of pounds, a couple of decent pounds.
Being as big as it is, it's not everybody's happy that it's as big as it is, because it doesn't...
No, it doesn't really fit on a shelf.
No.
And it's gonna... If this thing tips over, it could damage itself.
Yeah.
It's something you want to handle almost with gloves on, because it's expensive set.
Yeah.
And two, you don't want to damage it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, the cardboard is thicker and heavier than some of the other sets from Criterion. But when it comes to packaging, that's when people can get a little dicey with it, because it is, I believe that it's not. How do I explain it? Each disc is in like a slot.
They're cardboard slots.
They're cardboard slots. They're secure. I didn't have any problems with discs flying out. The biggest issue when it comes to this type of packaging is you gotta like dig to really get the discs out.
Yeah.
And it's really gonna all depend on the size of your hands, to be real. You know, if your hands are bigger, it's gonna be more difficult. If they're smaller, maybe easier. You're gonna have to touch the back of the disc, which you kind of don't really want to do, because you know, you don't want to get fingerprints or dust or scratches or anything on it. Blu-rays are typically resistant to that, but they can only take so much. That's one of the negatives of the set, and there are lots of discs, but when it comes to just the giganticness of the packaging, it's a gorgeous set to look at. It has a beautiful giant book in it as well. That's like a coffee table sized book, so you can only imagine the dimensions of this set are huge. And for me, Bergman is so indescribably unique when it comes to his films that it's just, his work's just amazing to me. Like, I'm constantly blown away by it because there's just nothing like it.
I went really strong into this set. Like I watched, like, I would say the first, because you know this set's curated.
Yes, it's also it's curated.
And I watched the first section of this really quickly. I was like, man, I'm gonna get myself through all these movies. I'm gonna watch all these movies. I got too intimidated. I stopped at like, I think maybe 12 films in. I'm like, you know.
It's kind of cool that they curated this set, and I think they curated the Varda set as well.
Yeah,
the Agnes Varda set, and it's kind of cool. Me personally, I kind of prefer to watch things in release order, so I kind of have to bounce around a little bit. Versus,
it's called OCD, people.
Yes, it's called OCD. It is, but it's kind of cool where it's like, here's this group of movies that are similarly themed. Here's that group that is similarly themed. Here's a group of his early work, and here's a group of his more well-known stuff. It's really cool, and there's a whole book in here that breaks down all of his movies and all this kind of stuff. It's like I said, it's film school in a box, but it's Ingmar Bergman. I mean, but it is an expensive set, so it's not for everybody, and it's not shelf. It's not, shelf or collector.
Shelf friendly.
Yeah, shelf friendly. That's why I keep it separate from everything else. I got no place to put it.
That's why you got to have custom shelves made. You just
true.
You can get
very true.
Or you just got some people have this problem more than others. Of course, that's what is tough for people when it comes to collecting physical media. Is some people just don't have the room.
The spacing can be tough.
But
all right. What's your final one, Steve?
My final one, I'm going to the one of my favorite labels. We've talked about them a lot today, Indicator. And I could have went to box sets or things, but I decided to go with one of their individual limited edition kind of digipack releases. I like it. Some people were thinking, is he going to say Night of the Demon, because that's kind of like the most popular one? I'm not. I decided to not go Night of the Demon, though that could have been one. I decided to go with one they put out recently, and it's by the director Richard Franklin, and it is a 80s kind of like Hitchcockian thriller, but on the Australian outback, and that's Road Games, starring Stacy Keach and Jamie Lee Curtis. This was another one of the movies I just discovered, and I love the movie. The movie's really stylish. It is very much like, it's like Rear Window, but in the outback. And Stacy Keach plays a truck driver who kind of like starts to get suspicious of this man he kind of meets on the road. And it's just a very fun movie, and one, like I said, a discovery. And Richard Franklin's not a director I was aware of until this movie too, and he was a big Hitchcock fan. He took a lot of influence from him, and he didn't go on to make a lot of movies, but I think some of the stuff that he's done looks very interesting. And just the fact that he kind of came up in a time where Australian cinema wasn't very prominent. He actually had to come to America to get his degree. He went to University of Southern California, and he actually got a chance to meet Hitchcock there, and so he met his heroes, and then he went on to kind of imitate him a lot in his career. But this movie, this edition, it comes with a a booklet, and it's got a poster in it, and the cover art is amazing. This movie was actually very much kind of hard to advertise when it came out, because if you look at the cover art, it makes it out to be this like slasher type movie, and it really isn't. It's kind of an amalgamation of thriller, some horror, a lot of some comedy, adventure. Like it's kind of a hard movie to nail down. So it's one of the movies that it wasn't very successful, but I think later down the line it got more appreciation. So I'm so glad that Indicator put this out in the way they did and helped me discover another great film. So yeah, that's the last movie I got on my list, Road Games. And yeah, that's some of our favorites. We of course have tons of favorites, but them are a few that we wanted to highlight. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, it was not easy to pick 5.
No, we were going back and forth about what we wanted to talk about. We didn't want to copy each other either, so we wanted to make sure we gave you a variety. But this episode, our first episode, is one of the longest episodes I think we've ever done.
I think it is. I don't think we've done an episode like this since the Rocky episode.
Yeah, the Rocky. That's been this is
talk about a movie that has been re-released on physical format many, many times.
Yeah, but hopefully you hung in there with us, and I think we're going to end it here. Where can we find you, Andrew?
You can find me on Twitter at Capzilla06, as well as my mysterious YouTube channel, Capzilla Productions.
Nobody's heard of it.
I haven't mentioned at all during this episode.
Nobody's heard of it. You can find me on Facebook, Stephen Billings. You can find me on Instagram at Chasing Labels, or Letterboxd at Chasing Labels. I have a Twitter now that's been switched over. I'm going to try to use it more. Probably not, but I'm going to try. But you can find the audio for this podcast on Podbean and Apple Podcasts. Thank you again once for listening to us. And hey, keep on buying them movies.
I know I will.